What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Friday night? Must be the Friday night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing out there? Who we got in the chat already? We got Rosie, Izzy, Trudeau Survivor, Ottawa James, Spambot in the chat. Good to see everybody. All right. So let's get to the menu, then we'll come back to the chat. We'll go through the menu first, just see what we're dealing with tonight. Go back to the chat for a minute, dole out the good karma, then get back stuck into these stories in detail. All right, what do we got going on here? So California, free sex changes for illegal immigrants. Kind of speaks for itself, really. We're going to talk about that. We got RFK Jr. here going through one of these, just farces, these, committees where he's just attacked. It's all just an act. I mean, there's no sincerity. There's nothing real about any of this, but he handles it very well. So I'll show you. There's a number of cases. I mean, it's just, you see them one after another, and it's all so phony, these attacks. It's amazing, but he handles it very well, as you will see. We've got a little bit on Iran, which changes every 5 minutes, but we've got a little bit on that. What do we have here? So we're going to talk about Canadian media bias here. Just actually the insane and kind of delusional state of the Canadian media right now. We've got a media here that wants censorship. So it wants to censor Canadians for perfectly legal speech. The Canadian Media Guild thinks Canadians have too much free speech. They're not having it. You're not allowed to insult them. They want to be protected from the public insulting them. Anyway, we'll get into that. What have we got here? So, all right. So DEI trees in Toronto. So they're going to be, we've got tree equity, or they're striving for tree equity in Toronto. Of course, it's crazy woke bullshit, as well as being actually just out and out racist. Because they're deciding who gets the trees and who doesn't get the trees, and it's the usual woke nonsense. We shall take a look at that. Canada's it's just not getting any better, folks. What do we got here? Mark Carney. So we're going to talk about, I saw this X post here from Andrew Scheer, just talking about Carney's record. So I thought I would go through this a little bit with you and pull up some stuff, and we could judge for ourselves. Is it real? We've got Rubio, Secretary of State Marco Rubio here. We have a little thing from him. He does not like the UN, and it's perfectly reasonable to not like the UN, by the way. UN is terrible. Let's see. So we've got an article here from, so first off we have, so all these floor crossers, I think Canadians would like to know what are these people getting? Got an article from Brian Lilly here going over it a little bit. The whole thing seems entirely corrupt. We will talk about that. And of course, liberal spending. So it costs a lot for them to do literally anything. Here's 108 square foot government boxes built for Canadians to live in London, Ontario, cost $4,800 per month per unit to operate. I'm starting to think that government may not solve all of our problems. I'm starting to suspect that. What else do we got? We've got a little bit from Pierre Poilievre here. Just calling out all the insanity as usual. There's not that much else he can do, really. This guy is funny. He does not know Canada all that well, it turns out. He's a liberal, it turns out. He's very self-righteous here, and he's hilariously wrong. What do we have here? We have a bunch of stuff. This is the last tab of the evening. It's a bunch of junk that you guys sent in. No, there's lots of good stuff in this. Spaceballs 2. Spaceballs 2. That's coming. We'll take a look at that. Lots of fun stuff. And just, it's a lot of stuff that's not news. It's just entertaining in some way. And we'll check it all out. Great times. Let's bring that back to the top. All right, everybody. Now, for anybody watching on YouTube, please go and subscribe to my new channel, Radio Baloney News. All of the clip videos are going on here now. The channel you're watching right now is only for live streams from now on. So from now on, all of the other videos are going to Radio Baloney News. You must subscribe to it to see all of my wonderful content. Thank you very much. All right. Now, as everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals. And when you like the stream, you get good karma. But when you're early, you get extra good karma. So what's going on? Izzy got the #1 like on Rumble. That's 6 good karmas. Boom. So easy, and just done. And now we can just relax. Izzy says, not good. Already feeling the need for a coffee ad. Well, I'll see what I can do about that later on. I'll see what I can do. Let's see. It looks like Trudeau Survivor got 2. He got 2, so that'll be 5 good karmas. Boom. These troubled times, who's going to turn their back on some free good karma? Come on. Let's see. Oh no. Trudeau Survivor. Oh no. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it. I started a new business franchise called Katy Perry Facials. Katy Perry Facials. I think I know where this is going. Okay. Continues from Trudeau Survivor. Katy Perry rubs her revitalizing juices over your face until you're dried out, until she's dried out, or you vomit, whichever comes first. Which one would come first? Now, of course, we're talking about this. Of course, there's that story. Ruby Rose, the actress, says that she was at a club and Katy Perry rubbed her her vagina in her face, and it was gross. She projectile vomited. So yeah, oh no, available in a jar to apply it. Oh no. Izzy says, I'm not sure I want fish sauce on my face. It sounds pretty gross from what Ruby Rose was saying. It sounds pretty gross. Rosie says, was glad to be here. Turning around to leave now with a green, I guess, like about to throw up face. Okay, don't worry. It's done. It's over. Izzy says, it's the smell of True Gina that would bother me. Because Katy Perry's with Justin Trudeau now. So I didn't realize that Katy Perry was a lesbian. I'm talking about dating Justin Trudeau there. I'm not reading that. Nope, not reading that. Not reading that. Rosie says, turning active ignore up to 11. Hey, Richie, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Rosie, and to everybody out there. Very well indeed. Is there a way to mute just 1 or 2 players? No, I'm afraid not. Well, there is actually, but I'm not going to. Because I approve, actually. Ottawa James, how you doing? How's Izzy doing? How you doing, Izzy? Let's see. Bambot got the 5th. So that is, I believe, 2 good karmas. Boom. Happens so quick. Hits you so fast. 2 good karmas. Boom. You're feeling good. What are you guys talking about? Izzy says, trees are racist. I knew it. Well, they are only in Canada, though. It's all white trees. Canada. Bambot asks, what WTF is a Katy Perry special? You must have missed that part of the last stream. Don't ask. Nevada got 7th like, so that's like 1 point, I don't know, 5 good karmas. That's a lot. Let's see. And Spam wants to know if there's any more Albertans in the chat. on the YouTube side. Let's see. Well, it doesn't seem to be anybody over the YouTube side right now. It's everybody on Rumble, as it usually is. 95% on Rumble. All right. Okay. Well, let's just get to the news, shall we? Let's just do this. Boom. Boom. Why do I keep saying boom? I don't know. Is that my new thing? Because I feel like it's kind of annoying. Let's see. Christopher F. Rufo. Breaking. Gavin Newsom's office has confirmed that California is giving free sex change surgeries to, drumroll please, homeless illegal aliens. Let me repeat. Free sex change surgeries to homeless illegal aliens. Because that's what Californians are working hard and paying their taxes for. Wow, they're doubling down and inexplicably suggesting that, well, what is this here from the Assistant Deputy Director of Communications offer of Governor Gavin Newsom, who may or may not be a vampire. We don't know. Quote, undocumented Californians don't get special treatment. Everyone on Medi-Cal gets the same access to care. If you want to call California woke for not letting politicians interfere with doctors, or not wanting people wanting people to die in the streets, then go ahead. How do they die in the streets if you don't give them sex changes? I don't get it. It's like if they're trying to are they giving themselves like sex changes in the streets? Because I mean, if they're doing that, they've got much, much deeper problems, I think. So yeah, but it's apparently this is really true. You know, illegal aliens are getting taxpayer-funded boob jobs and sex change ops in Newsom's California, a watchdog says. So that's Chris Rufo filmed encounters with transgender illegal immigrants outside a San Francisco homeless shelter. I wonder what's going on. Should we take a look?
California Democrats are turning against their own governor, Gavin Newsom, over the state's medical insurance program for the poor. That program we're looking at from 2024 to 2025, the program was expanded to include coverage for all illegal immigrants who might financially qualify. That includes taxpayers-funded gender treatments as well. And here's one illegal alien who got those.
I live in a shelter.
Definitely some are migrants or undocumented.
I think and me as a trans woman,
Yeah.
I feel safe.
So Medi-Cal, you got the breast implants.
Yes.
Good. So here in California, they give you the breast implant here.
Yes.
Free.
Yeah.
And who column has this to say, and a state projecting ongoing multi-billion-dollar deficits, prioritizing irreversible medical procedures for non-citizens who enter the U.S. illegally diverts finite resources from core governmental functions. It's easy to say that California's priorities are simply misplaced. Senior national.
I don't understand. Why does California or the United States or just any like Western country, why are they responsible for like everybody else in the world? Like a country is kind of a self-contained thing, right? So like the people work and they pay taxes and they contribute, right, to the services that are provided with the taxes they pay, and actually increasingly just with money that's printed or borrowed. But really, I mean, like for it to work, like it kind of has to be self-contained because there's way more people outside of like outside of California and the United States than there are inside. So you can't it seems like it's like a house of cards that's going to come down. Like you can't just keep doing that indefinitely. You can't keep bringing in people who are not contributing and just giving them stuff that the citizens paid for. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a dead end, let's say. Now, taking a look at California. So what are the 10 states with the highest income tax rates for 2025? California, number one. And that's I guess that's how they afford to give sex changes to people who just show up in their country illegally. Let's say California, New York, Illinois are experiencing the largest population declines in the U.S. as of late 2025, 2026, largely driven by domestic outmigration due to high living costs and taxes. So it's all working out great. It's all working out great. No way this is all just a house of cards. Yeah. It sounds totally crazy, and I think that's because it is. Illegal immigrants staying in homeless shelters in California have undergone sex change procedures and cross-sex hormone therapy treatments on the taxpayer's dime, a watchdog unearthed. I don't know. It feels like it would make more sense to just deport them, right? And not do the sex change operations, not force Americans to pay for sex change operations, right? That seems like a pretty easy fix right there. Manhattan Institute fellow Chris Rufo reports in a video that some illegal immigrants have accessed transgender medical procedures through California's Medi-Cal program, which provides healthcare coverage to low-income residents regardless of immigration status. The state spends roughly $9 billion in taxpayer dollars to provide healthcare for illegal immigrants, which also includes transgender care, so boob jobs and other things, according to the California Department of Health Care Services. Roughly 1.7 million illegal immigrants received full scope coverage in California's Medicaid program, which in some instances included gender affirming care. California Governor Gavin Newsom expanded the state's Medicaid program, known as Medi-Cal, to all immigrants, regardless of legal status, in January 2024. And this is not out of kindness or infinite empathy. This is political. It's about power, right? That's what it's about. And it just, like, this would have been a skit or something. This would have been comedy not that long ago. Now it's reality. I don't know. I really am kind of at a loss for words. Like, let's just read it again. Illegal aliens are getting taxpayer-funded boob jobs and sex change operations in Newsom's California. Why? Why? Like, honestly, 20 years ago, nobody would have believed this. They would have thought it was satire. I think the left is trying to kill satire, kill parody. We know that they don't like jokes much. I mean, not funny jokes. So what else is the explanation? Anything else here? All right, let's leave it at that. In fact, I'm going to get rid of these. There we go. All right. And also this one. What are you guys saying? I know you guys have something to say about that story. Let's see. Well, let's take a look at the ad reads. Anything juicy? Not really. Nope, nothing exciting. All right. All right. Nevada's very happy we have the noodle chef on the screen right now. The jiggly one. Let's see. Spambot wants to collect more signatures for the Alberta separation petition. So anybody who wants to sign that petition, you can contact Spambot. Nevada says, way to spend the taxpayers' money on sex change operations for illegal aliens. Spambot says, think on the good side, Richie. Sex change means they will be sterile and won't breed any more Democrat voters. Well, here's, like, I should look at these statistics, but I believe that progressive lunatics have way more kids than progressive lunatics, like radical progressives. Because they're not sterilizing themselves or their children, and they just, it's almost like like a weird attitude towards children amongst leftists now, right? Like, is it just like total selfishness, hedonism? Just like, I don't want to do that. I want to wake up and smoke weed. And what is it? Never have any responsibility. But their numbers are going to dwindle just because they're not reproducing themselves. And people that are, like Christians, Muslim, people that are more socially conservative are going to, and there'll just be more of them. Let's see. You guys are just talking about the weather, so I'll move on from that. All right. Nevada says Trader Joe's Cocoa Baton Wafer Cookies are delicious. Okay, I take your word for that. Let's move on. What do we got? RFK Jr. So whenever you watch these clips of like these committees, like congressional hearings and stuff, like it's all just like political theater. There's nobody's ever acting in good faith. It's just for clips. It's maddening. And RFK Jr. does a pretty good job here. He acquits himself quite well dealing with these just total phonies, frauds. It's unbelievable. Who posted this? The Vigilant Fox. RFK Jr. brutally flips the script on Democrat politicians' insane rant about ICE. All right, well, let's hear this. And why is she asking him about ICE? Should be asking Tom Homan about that.
So, Secretary Kennedy, I have another question. Does enhancing health include mental health?
Of course.
Good. I'm glad you agree, because recently masked armed ICE agents surrounded some high school students near their school. A Latino student from Oregon, a U.S. citizen, recently spoke about he and his friends feel scared at school, have trouble focusing, and feel dehumanized. And President Trump, as you likely know, repealed the guidance that keeps ICE out of sensitive locations like.
Oh, God. So let's see. Immigration laws make people sad. So you can't have a country anymore because otherwise people will be sad. Like, that is literally their argument when they do this. It's this appeal to emotion. You don't want to be a bad person. Well, like, if you're going to have a country, especially a country that works, like, you kind of need to be going off more than just pure emotional incontinence, at least more often than not. It can't just be all emotional incontinence. In fact, the less the better.
Schools and healthcare centers. Now, children can't understand the complexities of the U.S. immigration system, but they are scared and they can feel anxiety. So, Secretary Kennedy, does it enhance the health and well-being of children to allow immigration enforcement in and around schools and at childcare centers? Does that help kids?
It was not enhancing our health and well-being of the American people to allow 20 million illegal aliens into this country. And President Trump, again, is left with a mess. And he is having to,
Mr. Secretary,
he is having to clean up
in no legal or moral or ethical.
It's just amazing, right? So, again, they let in like 20 million people. Like, okay, like 12 million on the lowest end, but it sounds like it's more like 20 million people, like what he's saying, right? And then when you have to clean up that mess, no, but it's mean and it makes people sad. So you can't have a country anymore. Like, it must be so maddening for him to just sit there and deal with this and not just pick up like his coffee cup and throw it at her. Let's move on because there's more. What do we got here? Here's another beauty. This one was posted by Mario Nawfal. Dem rep tries a gotcha and presses RFK Jr. on autism comments. So, of course, she's going to misrepresent what he says because this isn't a truth-seeking thing. This is I need a clip of me going after RFK Jr., of me lying and going after him so that stupid, credulous people will think that I'm cool. Let's take a look.
Now, in your first press conference as secretary in April of last year, you said, and I'm quoting, autism destroys families, that these are kids who will never pay taxes, never hold a job, never play baseball, never write a poem, or go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted, which I would also like to submit for the record. The truth is that
Can
the
I respond
majority
to that?
are reclaiming
Without
my
objection.
time.
it'll be
Thank you.
submitted.
Thank you. The truth is that the majority of people on the autism spectrum can do all the things that you
Of course
have
they
mentioned.
can. And I never said they couldn't.
Some people with disabilities do need direct care to assist them with activities like going to the bathroom, but that does not mean that they are somehow less than or unable to lead fulfilling and productive lives, as you
And
have
nobody said they
implied.
were.
I'm reclaiming my time.
As if like RFK Jr. went on some like angry rant about like autistic people, calling them less than, like some bigoted rant against autistic people. Like, it's so absurd. Again, it shows you this is not a truth-seeking thing, right? This is a politics-seeking thing.
I'm asking you here today, Secretary, to apologize for spreading lies about people with autism and their families. Will you apologize for those remarks that you've made?
Of course not.
It's amazing. She lies and then asks him to apologize for lying. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Then if you let me explain, I'm happy to. I was talking about people with profound autism, not people who are, who have lower impact autism. I'm talking about people who are nonverbal, non-toilet trained, head banging, stimming, toe walking.
Okay, then since you
Hundreds and hundreds of people have written me letters thanking
what
me
you really
for those
meant,
comments.
since you're explaining what you really meant, can you apologize to the thousands of families that do not believe what you're just telling us now?
No, because if you look at my
You
comments,
refuse
it
to
was clear
apologize.
who I
I
was
find that
talking
very,
about.
very sad. I find that very, very sad. It should be very easy for you to apologize if that's not, in fact, what
Those
you
are
meant.
crocodile tears, Congresswoman.
And for all the families that have children with autism, I'm very sad to hear you say that,
you want to
because
deal
those
with
families
autism,
are dealing with the kinds of conditions that many people just don't even understand. The president is trying to close the Department of
come and talk to
Education.
me.
Just pure theater. Pure theater. The things you didn't say made me sad. So no, you can't look into the causes of autism. I just these are just bad faith actors, one after another. Let's see, what's this one here? Vigilant Fox posted this one. Actually, this one isn't that interesting. Let's move on, because just because he doesn't actually say anything in it. Vigilant Fox posted this one. RFK Jr. Calm down, Congressman. Do you think that worked? I don't think it did. Let's take a look.
Have you aligned your goals dealing with the reforms to the EPA protections and how that is making people sicker, not healthier? That was my question.
Yeah, I could not answer those questions because it's
You
not
can't
in my,
answer the question as the
not my,
secretary.
it's not my agency.
You don't coordinate with the EPA, Mr. Secretary? Your department is not involved with rolling back protections that would increase exposure to heavy metal?
You see, the whole part of that's not my department should just be, in a sane world, would be followed by, oh, okay, well, I'll talk to the head of the EPA. That would be the sane response. But because you don't get that, it's obvious that this guy is not interested in finding truth. He's just interested in getting a clip of himself attacking RFK Jr., who works for the evil orange man, so he can get some likes on social media.
Materials, even though it affects people's health? Is that what you're telling me? You don't coordinate?
I say, calm down, Congressman.
Don't tell me when. Look, healthcare is personal to my constituents like Deja and Richard.
Is over.
Do not tell me to calm down. Healthcare is real, and if you
healthcare is real. How can anybody take these people seriously? Come on, healthcare is real. I don't recall seeing RFK Jr. claim that it wasn't.
you can't answer basic questions, then maybe come prepared next time.
I'm answering the question. You don't give me the chance to answer. You haven't given me a chance to
You
answer.
said you
I'm happy
didn't-
to answer your
you said
question.
you
and
weren't-
you cut me off when I started to answer.
You said you
started
did
screaming
not
at me.
consult.
Okay, the
with
time is
EPA.
expired. We're going to move on. Mr.
People
Yakum.
scream when they don't have much to say.
You obviously
Yeah, I think he's right about that one. Also, when they're just playing a political part, when they're acting.
don't have anything to say because you can't even uphold what it is you're doing to
Mr.
reduce
Horsford,
cost
your 2
and
minutes
coverage.
over.
Give me a chance to answer the question.
We're moving on to Mr. Yakum.
Moving on. Let's see. They're never actually interested in an answer to any question. What is this here? From the Vigilant Fox again. A Democrat congresswoman accuses RFK Jr. of saying black kids on ADHD meds should be reparented? Okay, we got to hear this.
Have you ever reparented, or parented, I should say, a black child?
I don't even know what that phrase means, and I doubt
just
that
a yes
I
or
said
no
it.
answer.
I doubt that
You
I
did
said
say
that
it.
phrase.
You
No,
absolutely
I'm not
said
going to answer something that I didn't say.
You absolutely said it.
Oh, I'd like to hear the recording.
So to be
Because
clear,
it doesn't make
sir,
any
I'm
sense.
I'm
I
gonna
don't even know
reclaim
what
my
it
time.
means.
I don't either. That's why I'm
And
asking.
by the way,
So to be
of
clear, you're not a
26
doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training.
as
And
have,
you have never
as have,
parented a black
as have
child. Yet you
24
are
of the
suggesting
26
that
HHS
government-
secretaries
Mr.
have not had
Secretary,
medical
This is my
degrees.
time.
Oh, well, she doesn't like the answer. Like, this is my time. What is the point of having him in there? Well, it's not. There's no point. It's just politics. This is scheduled. This whole thing is arranged just basically to get clips that their voters will like. It's really astonishing, is it not? All right. Yeah. So it must be insanely maddening. I wonder if you'll ever see anybody just lose it in one of these things, just out of frustrations, just out of pure frustration, just go totally falling down at one of these things, because it would drive you nuts. I mean, how do you not shout? Throw something at them. I don't know. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see. Where are we here? There we go. What do we got? Okay. Nevada says RFK Jr. knows his stuff. Yeah, I mean, what he's trying to do is quite noble, right? Like, it's so weird. It's so weird how do you know, like, the modern left has no principles, and actually liberals never had any principles? Well, because they were all about, for decades, they were all about free speech until they were told that there's something called hate speech, and then they were against free speech. Like, because when you say, I'm for free speech, except hate speech, well, you're not for free speech. Then you're just for censorship. Now you've become a Stalinist. Right? Let's see. Pharmaceutical companies, there's another one. Right? Where was all the distrust? Do you remember where do you remember the vaccine stuff from like 20 years ago? Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy and all of that. It was like a new age thing where they didn't trust vaccines. The center of that was California. Right? How many fake, pharmaceutical ads did you see on Saturday Night Live? And they were funny too, by the way. Back then, they were funny. When they'd read like all of the horrible complications afterwards at the end of the ad. How many of those did we see? The left used to not just blindly trust corporations, right? Pharmaceutical companies now, no, they can do no wrong. Perfect. If you have any questions whatsoever, you're some sort of conspiracy theorist. This is how you know there was never any principles there in the first place. All right. As he says, what did RFK have to do with it? Well, they just make shit up, right? Let's see. Macross says, how you doing, Macross? They want excuses to fleece taxpayer money. Yes. Put your money in my pockets, you damn commies. Yep. Fake outrages, he says. Yep. What a stooge, Nevada says. Macross says, humana, humana, humana. Macross says, retards. Smears and lies. It's every single time you see one of these. It's exactly the same every single time. Rosie says, one of the words calm down ever had a positive effect. Well, they never. Let's say it doesn't work in all situations. No, when your dad says it, that's when it works. It works for Taylor Swift. Hold on. All right. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's get rid of that tab. We don't need that one anymore. What do we got now? So let's talk about Iran. And I don't talk about Iran a ton because I found that whatever the newest news is, it changes 5 minutes later. Hey, Daddy, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so whatever the news is about Iran, it changes 5 minutes later. But this is the latest that I have from Mario Nawfal here. Trump says talks with Iran will continue over the weekend, and there aren't too many significant differences left to resolve. Quote, well, let's hear it from Trump. So how is it going in the Strait of Hormuz?
So we're having a big day. We'll see how it all turns out, but it should be good. We've had some very good discussions, and hopefully that subject that you like to talk about will be very good. And we've done a good job, but we'll see. Talks are going on. It'll go on over the weekend, and a lot of good things are happening. And that includes Lebanon, too.
There's been reporting today that there's still, Iran says there's significant differences.
Well, there could be. Let's see what happens. If there are, we'll have to straighten it out. But I don't think there's too many significant differences.
On the blockade, Mr. President, what will it take to end the blockade?
When the agreement is signed, the blockade ends. As soon as the agreement gets signed, that's when the blockade ends.
Did Anthropic have a meeting at the White House?
Who?
Sir, Anthropic?
I have no idea.
On Cuba, Mr. President, is Cuba next?
So, I mean, it kind of has the feeling like maybe this is it now. You know, a real agreement will be reached. When the agreement is signed, the blockade ends. That's the clearest statement yet that the deal is imminent. He's no longer talking about deadlines, ultimatums, or threats. He's talking about signing. The tone has completely shifted from back to the Stone Ages to a lot of good things are happening. Yeah, I mean, it is Trump style. It's maddening that people pretend to not understand that when Trump comes out with these massive statements, bomb back to the Stone Age, this sort of thing, is that this is a part of his negotiation, part of his kind of destabilizing the other side, or that's an attempt to do that, right? Yeah, so Eric Doherty says, breaking, the Strait of Hormuz is open. President Trump wins. Well, I think it's a little early for that. And I think you have to ask the question as well, I mean, what does winning mean, right? What did he win exactly? Donald J. Trump, Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. So let's take a look at this one.
The screen for a reason. The Iranian foreign minister, who seems to be really the guy in charge, or at least publicly for Iran, just fired this off in a post on X, and I'm going to read it for you now. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route as already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So on that news, the stock market is flying through the roof. That opens in 28 minutes, so we'll watch that. Now, while this is happening, the U.S. has brokered a...
And we'll see what happens in 5 minutes. So Mario Nawfal posted this as well. America is now the undisputed energy superpower of the world. Oil, 24 million barrels per day, more than Saudi Arabia plus Russia combined. Natural gas, 119 billion cubic feet per day, more than Russia plus Iran plus China combined. If the Strait of Hormuz gets shut down for a long time, it might sting America, but it would devastate Europe and Asia. So when was this posted? That was April 16th, so yesterday. Let's take a look here. USA now produces more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. So there's Saudi Arabia, there's Russia, and yeah, it looks like it. So the United States is positioning itself, with Venezuela, positioned itself as the kind of master of energy in the world right now. And they're selling a lot of oil right now. But the Strait of Hormuz is, it is going to be open. Like, it's not going to be closed forever. Maybe it's open right now. To what degree, we don't know any either, but it is going to be open again. So it's not, it's not going to be a long-term thing, this kind of energy dominance, in terms of nobody can get it anywhere else. People are going to be able to get it through there as well. So again, it comes to, you just have to ask the question, well, if it's winning, what did you win? Exactly. So you would have to say, destroying Iran's military capabilities? Are they going to be getting, all of the uranium from them? I mean, that's something to see. I guess you could definitely call that a win if you get that. So, but I'm kind of stretching to try and figure out where is the actual win, though. And, at what point doesn't it feel like maybe the whole thing was unnecessary? It was maybe a gamble to, it was maybe a gamble. The thought that maybe they were, maybe they had, were having secret talks with people in the regime, and there were plans to topple the regime and end up with something more friendly, more amenable to the United States and the Western world generally, and that didn't come off. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot I think people just don't know right now. Probably aren't really going to find out for a while, but who knows? I mean, if you can get a good enough deal with Iran, and I'm not sure how possible that is. If you can get a good enough deal, you can call it a win, but it'd have to be pretty spectacular, right? Because there's not going to be regime change. I mean, yes, 40 of their top 50, political leaders are gone, but it's still the same regime, right? And they don't seem to be very much friendlier to the U.S. or Israel either. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think about this. All right. Hold on. I want to know what you guys think. Let's see. McCross says, seeing Iran always talks but never delivers. Seeing Iran always talks but never delivers. Oh, so they're not good for their word. McCross says, we need to send Greenland to kick Iran's arse. What are those lazy Greenlanders doing anyway? Let's see. McCross says, did you hear NATO now wants to help? Trump told the paper tiger to F off. Yeah, I did see that actually. Hold on a second. Let's pull up hold on. Let's pull up let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's pull up Starmer and Macron. Macron. Hold on. I should be able to find something pretty quick here. Hold on. Ugh. Yeah. From Mario Nawfall again here. Macron and Starmer hosted 49 countries in Paris to discuss reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran announced it was opening the strait during their meeting. So, Starmer, we welcome the announcement that was made during our meeting. The timing is almost too perfect. They are the two most ludicrous world leaders in the world, are they not? Just, I mean, they really are just the avatars of Western decline.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. We just had a very productive meeting, bringing together 49 countries around a very simple message and proposition that the world needs the Strait of Hormuz fully open, because that is how we keep prices down for our people and stop the global economic damage. So we've all agreed there was real unity.
So now that it's already done, I mean, it really is pathetic. And I have to say, too, I mean, with all of the money that the U.S. poured into the Ukraine war, for them to be, frankly, so shamefully weak when they were called upon. I mean, it is shameful, actually, isn't it? These just weak, ineffectual losers. Just these, like, fops, these, like, let's listen.
In the meeting that we've just had, we want to see a return to talks and a lasting agreement, including the reopening of the strait. We welcome the announcement that was made during our meeting, but we need to make sure that that is both lasting and a workable proposal. And
well, that is the thing. Like, you wait 10 minutes, right? It's like the weather in Alberta. Just wait 10 minutes.
If anything, it reinforces the need for the work that we've been doing this afternoon, because we're very clear that the mission that we're putting together is a defensive mission.
Yeah, you missed the boat, pal. There they are. These two, like, what are they? Like, they really are the avatars of Western decline, of managed decline, right? Of just the weakest period in European history, right? The most shameful period. Ugh. That's where they are on it. That's where they are on it. But they had a meeting and a press conference, so they did their part, I guess. They could tell their voters. Let's go back to the stream, or let's go back to the chat for a second. Nevada says, I predict we will have to bomb the shit out of the leaders of Iran one more time, probably within a week or two, then peace may follow. It sounds like they might have had enough of having the shit bombed out of themselves. I don't know, but you might be, 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes. As he says, I'm hoping for the best and trusting Trump knows what he is doing. Well, I think everybody will be happy if the whole thing just comes to an end. But then the question is, was it worth it? Like, can it really be justified? I mean, he's going to declare victory, right? But I mean, the Strait of Hormuz was open before, right? So that is true, right? Like, I don't know. It feels like, it went so swimmingly well. It was so masterfully played in Venezuela, right? And also too with Panama Canal as well. And he just felt like, I guess maybe they got overconfident that they could, turn over that regime. Or at least, again, maybe there was some sort of, secret communications going on with, some leaders that were, more amenable to cooperating, who would be willing to take over the country if the top leadership was killed, and then just something went wrong, or they chickened out or something. Maybe something like that. Nevada says, we're going to be the oil giant. Well, you are already, right? So Trudeau survivor asks, are the people of Iran better off now compared to January 2026? No, I don't see how. I mean, they've still got that regime, which is going to probably be even more psychotic at this point. So, because it's weak, and they're going to be even more psychotic in holding on to power. So, yeah, I don't think so. Izzy says, I think China was the main target. Well, they're trying to keep China, with the national security strategy. They want China out of the Western Hemisphere. That's what they're working towards. That's what Panama Canal, that's what Venezuela was all about. And I think they would very much like to hold the spigot, have their hand on the spigot. Not necessarily control the oil. It's not even really about that. It's about controlling who gets it and at what price. So, but China definitely is a part of all this, right? Like, Trump is, as far as China becoming, the global hegemon, Trump's saying, not on my watch. Not on my watch. And I have the best watch. Nevada says, I think USA is better off. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays. We'll see how over time, how it all plays out. Let's see. Izzy says Iran was a proxy of China. True. Well, I'm not going to say it's a proxy of China. I don't think Iran was a proxy of anybody. I don't think they ever saw themselves that way. But they're connected. They're an ally of China. Nevada says Europe is finished. Yeah. Yep. I don't see how they turn it around. Rosie says, I think Tim Burchett is correct. The U.S. oil companies are grifters. My word, no reason for their price gouging. Well, it's all very complicated. I don't really want to comment on it because I don't really understand. There's the global oil market, which is what determines prices. But beyond that, I don't really know much more. I don't really want to comment on it, but Rosie doesn't trust them. Let's see. Izzy agrees with Rosie on that one. Yeah, the stock markets are going well, right? McCross says all of this is just Wall Street extortion. The flow of oil hasn't been disturbed to the point they are trying to make it seem. I mean, it's 20% of the world's oil, right? So Izzy says, no, it's just fear of instability is causing panic buying of futures. Well, yeah. So that is definitely true. I know that's true. Instability does spike prices. Let's see. Because yes. Because it's what people are expecting it to be in the future. Let's see. They seem to be running out of leaders, as he says, Iran. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of fanatics there. There's a lot. They got a lot. All right. What do we got next? All right. So let's get rid of this tab here. So, who wants to hear about Canadian media bias? It's really the same all over the Western world. It's the same thing. Just certainly state media, BBC, CBC, they're just interchangeable. But from Blacklock's reporter here, and let's go here. So from Blacklock's reporter, Canadian Media Guild. All right. Media seek curbs on critics. So the Canadian media wants to censor Canadians, which tells you something about the state of Canada. One of the largest unions in Canadian newsrooms yesterday sought federal controls on what people say about media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Government regulation of lawful but hurtful criticism was supported by 95% of media workers, said the president of the Canadian Media Guild. The toxicity we face online and in person while doing our jobs is becoming overwhelming. Like, you wonder why you hear so many kind of like woke words in the media, the toxicity. It's because they're all woke. It's because all of that institution has been completely taken over by the idea pathogen in Canada. So, government regulation of lawful but hurtful criticism was supported by 95% of media workers. So, people disagreeing with you, they want that regulated. This is the media. I mean, how much more obvious does it have to be that they're not interested in educating? And how obvious does it need to be that they're not interested in informing the public? They're interested in manipulating the public. And they don't want to be criticized for it either. Well, let's take a look. Here's who posted this? CBC Watcher. CBC Workers Labor Union, the Canadian Media Guild, advocates for more government funding, restricted online speech, and legislated protections. So let's see, who's this? Canadian government-funded journalists for censorship and government control. Geez, it feels like the media has changed a bit, doesn't it? It's not quite like what it used to be. Let's take a look.
Supporting CBC Radio Canada is vital in protecting.
Oh, by the way, this is the president of. Hold on, this is the. I believe this is the president of. Hold on a second. Let's see. Here's the Canadian Media Guild. Who we are. So where? Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back. So this person here. A message from the new CMG president. So this is Jane. This is Jane. All right, so here's Jane, president of the Canadian Media Guild. Let's listen.
Supporting CBC Radio Canada is vital in protecting cultural sovereignty. Our public broadcaster provides local journalism where private media has withdrawn, reflects communities across the country, and delivers trusted information. Yet ongoing financial and
what is it? What is cultural sovereignty? Let's watch that again. Hold on.
Supporting CBC Radio Canada is vital in protecting cultural sovereignty.
What is cultural sovereignty? What is cultural sovereignty? Does that mean everybody has to watch Heated Rivalry?
Our public broadcaster provides local journalism where private media has withdrawn, reflects communities across the country, and delivers trusted information. Yet ongoing financial uncertainty has resulted in repeated layoffs, reduced local programming, and increased precarity for workers. 92% of our members support increasing CBC Radio Canada funding towards level comparable with.
So, yeah, they want more money, right? I don't know. How about that whole thing about nobody watches them anymore except liberal boomers? That's the entire part of the population. That's the entire demo that watches CBC at this point. What about that? What about the fact that nobody outside of that one small group cares what any of you people have to say?
With other G7 public broadcasters, 85% support moving to legislated, stable, multi-year funding. We urge you to follow through on the 2025 government paper, The Future of CBC Radio Canada. It provides a clear roadmap to protect and enhance our public broadcaster, independent of political change. For many journalists.
Okay, here's the thing. Public broadcaster does not represent all Canadians. That's supposed to be its mandate, right? Like, represent all Canadians, the entire country, and everybody in it. That's supposed to be the mandate, okay? That's not their mandate anymore. Their mandate now apparently is demonize anybody who's not a radical leftist, right? So it leaves a lot of us feeling like, well, what's the point of the CBC? It's just a weapon now against the Canadian people themselves, right? So maybe it'd be better just to defund them and not give Jane more money. Maybe just cut off the money entirely. Maybe Jane should show a slight bit of gratitude, actually, towards the taxpayer.
Especially women, minorities, and 2S LGBTQ plus members, the toxicity we face online and in person.
Of course woke. Obviously. This is every institution in Canada now, right?
While doing our job is becoming overwhelming. Many are also routinely exposed to traumatic content, violence, tragedy, and hate, leading to high rates of burnout. 89% of members say they need supports in health, safety, and mental well-being.
I don't know. Why don't you just fucking grow up like people used to do? How about that, Jane?
Urge the government to support stronger protections through the upcoming Online Harms Act, particularly with journalist safety and mental health as explicit priorities. This would have to be a balanced approach to have harmful content removed from online platforms while not silencing charter-protected rights of freedoms of expression and or limiting freedom of the press. 95.
But isn't that exactly what the censorship would do, though? Right? Punishing people for perfectly legal speech. Right? Isn't that exactly what it would do? Isn't that what you want? I mean, how far this institution has fallen, right? Journalists now want to be protected from people disagreeing with them or saying they're bad at their jobs or mean words. I mean, it's beyond pathetic, and it's stunning. It's stunning that the Canadian people have to pay for this.
5% of media workers believe government action is essential to support the media sector. Action like protecting both the Online News Act and the Online Streaming Act. We need you to resist pressure and cohesive tactics in trade negotiations with the U.S. that seek to amend or water down this legislation. Change happens all the time in the media. I started as a youngster splicing film reels together with tape at a movie.
Well, Jane is talking about the Online News Act there, which is the reason why people can't get news on Facebook anymore, and which has really had an incredibly deleterious effect on independent media in Canada, which of course all of these people hate.
Theater. An early job for me was right here on Parliament Hill as a physical camera operator for Senate committee meetings. I could now do a broadcast quality video with the tech contents of my purse. As a media workers, we are all keenly aware of the inevitability of change. The Canadian Media Guild urges this committee to continue its leadership by centering workers in media policy decisions. This is not a workforce resisting change.
Centering workers. This is all like, it's all the buzzwords, centering, right? Centering, that's a woke word they throw in there. You have to center things, right? These are all little woke code words.
This is a workforce asking for stability, fairness, and a future. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you just be grateful that you haven't been defunded already, as you so deserve to be. So deserve to be. This is the state of Canada. These are the people that we've let take over. This is the new president of the Canadian Media Guild. Well, let's see. The Canadian Media Guild. Let's see. So the first thing that comes up, actually, when you come onto this channel, hold on. The first thing that comes up is International Women's Day. Equity must be structural. I thought this was just like a union for Canadian media workers. Equity must be structural. Equity is not equality. Equity is Marxism. You can tell right away, and they're not hiding it. This is just a totally politicized organization. Who do they represent? Aboriginal People's Television Network, BuzzFeed, Canada's National Observer, Canadian Press, CBC Radio Canada. That's Vice Media. Vice Media. I had no idea they were still around. You wonder why the news is so biased and frankly just totally insane in Canada. Well, the whole industry is this. This is the whole, and everybody in it is this. They don't care about informing the public. They don't have principles. They're not objective. They're all Marxist revolutionaries. The whole lot of them, apparently. This is what's important to them. Things like equity are important to them. I mean, all right. Let's see. They got their Equity and Human Rights Committee. So this work is not just us in leadership roles. We will need you involved as well to ensure our union carries forward. In the coming weeks, there will be calls for participation as several national committees are reformed, including the Election Oversight Committee and the Equity and Human Rights Committee. What? So it's just an activist group? Like, this isn't like your father's union, right? This is now, all of them are just revolutionary, literally like Marxist, culturally revolutionary activists. That's it. Whatever their purpose before was, now it's about woke. That's first and foremost, spreading the woke mind virus. Why should Canadians have to pay for this? Let's see. Get involved with your union. Volunteer to serve on CMG National Committee. Equity and Human Rights Committee. Let's see. Promote human rights and equity within our union. It's all just political. It's all Marxist, obviously. It's all Marxist language, right? The problem, it's a deep problem in your country when just everything is this. Everything is this. It creates dysfunction. And having to listen to these people whining and complaining, right? So self-righteously. It makes you think maybe they just shouldn't, maybe these organizations like the CBC just shouldn't get any money. Maybe the CBC has kind of passed its best buy date at this point. Because who really wants to fund that? I don't think many Canadians do. Josh DeHaas, the Canadian Media Guild, the union for CBC and Canadian press, is asking the government to pass a bill that would ensure harmful content is removed from social media. In my day, journalists oppose censorship. How embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the whole country, but it's also really dangerous. All right, let's move on. And we can get rid of some of this. Bunch of this. All right. What are you guys saying? Izzy says, sadly, media and education were taken over by the commies. They're all Marxists, right? They're all Marxists, all of them. When you see the word like equity isn't freedom. That's not like liberal democracy. Equity is Marxist. Equality, that's what the Western world was built on. Let's see. Izzy says, of the president of the Canadian Media Guild, that is a man. That is a man. I believe you're correct. I believe that Jane was a man. Macross says, meanwhile, in Californication, they are attempting to pass the Nick Shirley Act. Yes. That, I don't think I have that. I might have that coming up. I can't remember. Macross says, I am downloading Dude Looks Like a Lady on my phone and playing it when these people have the balls to show in public. It's just sometimes it's not even trying. That's what hurts. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Jane missed out the MMIW in the G2SL before. Yeah. Pretty bigoted. Let's see. Wordsmiths fearing words, as he says. Yep. This is what we've come to. Let's see. Canadian Media Guild or Geld. Yeah. The Geld might be more appropriate. Let's see. Nevada says, shut up, Kami. Kami gets nothing. All right. Let's see. There was a link from across there. I guess we can take a look at it. Link monkey. Fetch me my links, link monkey. Let's take a look. I will preview it first to make sure it's something not totally degenerate.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't. There we go. Let's go. Oh, no, I can't play that. Sorry. Nope, that's an immediate copyright right there. Sorry. Let's see. Go back here. We could have done that on the Monday stream, on the premium stream. Let's see. All right. Well, let's move on to the next thing. Maybe I should have a sip of coffee first, though. Or maybe I'll do some kind of crazy ad read. Let's take a look. What do we got? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Not really. Not really. You know what? I could always use another 34 cents. Let's go. All right, people, you still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Well, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units, folks. That's exclusive. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy, which is the best kind of energy, and laser focus, which everybody knows is the best kind of focus. No crash, no commies. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Yuck, I don't like the mold. I'm so glad it's not in this coffee. Plus, you're also getting, guess what? A gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. I hope she's not some kind of crazy old commie hag. And a black 1775 tumbler. That's $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for only $99, folks. That's under $100. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, let me tell you, friends, spoiler alert, it sure is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're all gone. Listen, folks, it's a bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Is it anti-communism on Radio Baloney? It certainly is, just like Rumble does. Everybody loved that ad read. Everybody did. And I can't take all the credit for that. I mean, the copy is fantastic. The ad copy is beautiful. It's like poetry to me. The only thing is I wish I could have written that myself. Not changed it, not made it better. It can't be better. But just written that myself and been able to sit back and say, you know what? You're good. You're real good. But I did my part by reading the ad. Of course, I did a spectacular job of that. I can't wait to see the reviews coming in. Anyway, it's a win for everybody. Izzy says, 34 cents for a commie-free ad, worth it. And I was just down to my last 34 cents, so I've got double the money now. Let's see. What the heck are you guys talking about? Bambot says, if anyone hasn't yet played Thief Fan Missions, so that's a game, Thief, right? I've never played it. Let's see. He says, GOG, Good Old Games, has Thief Gold on steep discount. Oh, very well. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, I have a link for Rosie, but she was so rude at the beginning of the stream, so maybe I shouldn't share it. You know what? Don't hold on to grudges, Trudeau Survivor, and I don't recall her being rude. Let's see. Don't make a scene. Macross says, you just need to get a block screen and play it on GameTube when you have to worry about copyrights. Stop punishing Rumble people. I don't even know what you're talking about. Let's see. Izzy says, I didn't know mold free was something I need to ask for. Me neither, actually, but now I know. Spambot says, Richie, you should stop the YouTube portion of the stream to play the extra content. Well, but it's become a special thing now on Mondays, has it not? I've thought about it, to be honest, but I think we'll keep going for now. Mostly just because I would always forget to turn it off. Let's see. Maybe we'll do that tonight. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it tonight. Maybe we'll turn off the last hour or something on the YouTube side, if I can remember how to do that. Let's see. Izzy says, Commie Free Coffee is always worth it. 17.76 out of 10, which I believe is almost the most you can get out of 10. Thank you so much. What the heck? Now Rosie's over on YouTube. What is happening? Is my brain broken? Have we just split into an alternate universe? Are we in a different timeline? What the hell is happening? It's freaking me out. Rosie says, good ad read, was too distracted by Aerosmith to hear most of it. 10 out of 10, Rosie says, 10 out of 10. That's almost the most you can get out of 10. Let's see. Nevada says, we missed so much because of YouTube. I don't know. Maybe we should go back to the way we used to do it. Do the first hour on YouTube and then do the rest just on Rumble. Let's see. Because YouTube really doesn't let many people see. But, I mean, we have a few that do come back, right? So, I don't know. I'd feel bad for denying those people. Then they'd have to switch. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. It is true that the vast majority of people are on Rumble. So, I do have to consider that as well. Let's see. All right. Let us continue. Let's see. So, have you heard of tree inequity? Have you heard of that? This is from the city of Toronto. So, this is actually from the official City of Toronto account. They're asking you, have you heard of tree inequity? It's when some communities have fewer trees than others, leading to hotter streets, less shade, and poorer air quality. Inequity. That's a commie word. Who's the mayor of Toronto, by the way? Hold on one second. Probably should have done this earlier before the stream, but hold on. All right, hold on a second. Let's see. So, where is that crazy bear? There's some stuff that I wanted to show you. What's this? I'm not waiting. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow wants to fast track something. Let's see. Delivering for Scarborough. Is there anybody from Scarborough? Is different now. It sure is. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see. definitely something different about Scarborough these days. Let's see. Oh, yeah, she wanted to do a rain tax as well. So they got a rain tax. Let's take a look.
And the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow, joins me now in studio. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Ni hao.
It's been almost a year since John Tory stepped down as mayor, and you launched your campaign that would see you become the mayor of Canada's largest city. How would you assess your time so far at Toronto City Hall?
Well, have a wonderful time, all the people wrote the...
It's Ben Bankus. I knew it as soon as I saw that. Hold on a second. She's crazy. Don't ask me what she's saying. Who's this supposed to be? Mark Nixon. Meet the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow. Let's take a look.
Don't have that $10 to be able to come in. Let's say if you have 2 kids, family of 4, that's $40. If you don't, $40 is, it adds up. Plus, if you have to park, you should take public transit. Forget it. Pardon me. The public transit. Yeah. Okay. So you should. That $40 should not be the barrier.
Okay, so crazy call me dingbat. Let's see. Hold on though. I want to show you. What's this? Hold on a second. So Only London published this. This is from 2024. Mob takes over the streets of Toronto in a show of force against the city's Jewish population. Whose streets? Our streets, they say. Let's take a look.
Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets?
Well, he doesn't seem nice, and now he's saying that Toronto streets are his streets. And I guess the Carney government's not giving him much reason to believe that it's not, or Mayor Chow for that matter. Mayor Chow for that matter. Let's see. Meanwhile, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow was wildly dancing on stage last night with a drag queen to the song "We Are Family." Why would you even dance if it wasn't with a drag queen? I mean. Leftist politicians just want it so badly to be part of this club. It's very strange. What's this here? Let's see. Toronto from 6 Buzz TV. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow drops a video telling ICE to stay out of the city. ICE? But isn't that the States? And Toronto's in Canada. Let's take a look.
Mayor Chow, what do you think about ICE coming to Toronto?
ICE have no place in this city. Toronto is about to welcome thousands and thousands of families because of FIFA World Cup, where everyone belongs, everyone's welcome. So stay out, ICE. We do not need you here.
Mayor Chow.
Hold on. We need to do a fact check on this. Oh, hold on. Let's see.
Fact check.
Okay, so Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow and the City Council are formally opposing the presence of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents during the 2026 FIFA World Cup, asserting they have no jurisdiction in Canada. While ICE maintains a permanent liaison office in Toronto, federal officials state these agents have no authority to police, carry guns, or conduct arrests on Canadian soil. So there is obviously there's going to be some cooperation between the United States and Canada on immigration, on intelligence, all of these things, crime, obviously. Let's see. The conflict. Toronto officials and activists fear a potential ICE presence could cause fear among diverse fans and residents, as reported in CBC Sports and by Amnesty International Canada. ICE presence. ICE has 5 offices in Canada, including one in Toronto, largely focused on transnational crime investigations such as child exploitation and weapons smuggling. So, Olivia Chow does not want ICE liaising with Canadian law enforcement over transnational crime investigations such as child exploitation and weapons smuggling. So weird. It's all virtue signaling is the thing, right? They don't actually care about any of that, any actual real issues. They just want to do this. They just want to dance with drag queens because they think it's cool. She's promoting a public toilet there. Hold on, here she is as well. All right, hold on. There we go. So there's the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow. Olivia Chow making Torontonians proud. And probably they actually are, is the weird thing. Now she's got her sights set on tree inequity. Tree inequity. It's when some communities have fewer trees than others, leading to hotter streets, less shade, and poor air quality. Toronto is the first city in Canada to adopt a tree equity approach, so a tree Marxism approach. Using the tree equity tool, we combine land cover, demographic, and socioeconomic data to identify where more trees are needed and help residents explore planting options in their neighborhoods. All right, so it's just equity, and they're combining land cover, demographic. Wait a second, demographic data, huh? That's interesting. I wonder how this all plays out. Let's see how TESO works. Use tree equity score. Hold on, let's make this a little bigger. Use tree equity score and supplementary local data to identify neighborhoods with the greatest need. Then dive deeper to the property level to discover how you can shift tree equity scores through tree planting. Tree Marxism scores. So let's see. What are the factors here? Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? I did have something. Where is it? Hold on. Here we go. All right. So, yes, the tree equity score. Tree equity score analyzer. Discover how human-centered tree plantings can improve health and well-being in Toronto's neighborhoods. Deep dive into the Toronto Tree Equity Score Analyzer for neighborhood and property level tools that can help you chart a course towards tree communism. Equity. Let's see. Tree equity for Toronto. So what are the metrics here? Let's see. Tree canopy, building density, income and employment, race. Of course. Of course. I forgot Toronto was ruled by gay race communism. You can't make this up. This is equity for you. Well, you could use some more trees around here, but wrong color, I'm afraid. Tree Equity Score evaluates data for all areas in Toronto to help prioritize areas with the greatest need. Is it that, or is it just skin color? Or just not white? Because that's what it comes down to, right? Not white. This is Canada. This is everything in Canada now. Toronto ranks white residents lower for tree planting priority. This is from Juno News. The city is basing tree planting decisions on what a tool called the Tree Equity Score Analyzer. The city is basing tree planting decisions on what a tool called the Tree Equity Score Analyzer, which takes into account race and other factors. The fact that race is in there at all is insane, and it shows you just how twisted Canada has become. The city of Toronto is now factoring race into where it plants trees, using a new ranking system that deprioritizes neighborhoods with more white residents, even if they lack canopy. So it's not equality. It's not tree equality. It's tree equity, which means tree communism. So, yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure that white people pay taxes, right? They pay at least the same amount of taxes as everybody else, right? Maybe that should be factored in. It's real. Like, the thing is, like, you have to check, like, is this a parody account, right? No, it's really the city of Toronto. That's really what they're doing. It's unbelievable. Suzanne Allen says, how is this possible? So Toronto wants DEI trees and four city-run grocery stores. Beware, this is scary stuff. Bradford is the best choice for a bright future in Canada's largest city, but guess what? She's got an 11-point lead in the mayoral race. So she'll continue to be mayor, it looks like, because Torontonians appear to actually like all of this insanity. And you wonder how the Liberals keep winning. Keep winning. You wonder how Mark Carney won. Yikes. All right. Tree equity, people. Tree equity. It's come to Canada. It's come to save Canada. All right. Let's go back to the chat, see what you crazy dingbats are saying. Maybe we'll change this. Let's go to, let's see. Go to this one. I always like this one. Hold on. Rosie had to go to YouTube to ask if anyone from Alberta was lurking. Was there anyone? Let's see. Macross says, Commie Tube. Come join the Freedom Stream. Izzy says, let me guess, there are tree genders? Well, we didn't get into that. I'm sure they've come up with it, though. I'm sure they're planting non-binary trees. Let's see. I don't know. Are trees non-binary? I don't know, actually. I'm not a biologist, sadly. Let's see. Let's see. Don't forget lupine genders. Werewolf rights matter. True. It's never been more true, as a matter of fact. Rain tax. Did they already tax the sun? I believe I did a video on the rain tax, actually, ages ago. Sure you can find it. Denny's simply from Ontario. Merely from Ontario. I'm going to guess not a big Olivia Chow fan. Let's see. Spambot says, I used to call it Scarberia when I used to live in miserable Soggy. So, Mississauga? Scarberia. Scarborough? Yeah. Not that pleasant. Now what are we doing, Link? Interrupting with Link Monkey stuff. All right, we'll take a look. I hope it's something relevant. But something relevant, Macross. You're not abusing the honor system. Let's say copy link address and Link Monkey. All right, let's see what trash Macross has got for us here. All right.
We're one of the only social media agencies.
Hold on. Give me a second. What is this? No. Did you send it again? Did you send it again? No, we're not doing that. That's an instant. I told you, that's an instant. Not that it even matters because I make no money on YouTube, actually. So it doesn't matter at all, but it's still just, I still don't like it. It's not clean. Not clean. Let's see. Let's see. It was just dude looks like a lady again, by the way. So no, no, stop messing with me. Rosie says some trees do have gender. There must be two of the same tree to cross-pollinate. If only one, it will not bear fruit. Pecan trees? I don't know. Recross says, what's with Richie and trannies tonight? It's not me. I'm just reporting the damn news. Let's see. The Toronto mayor is on crack, Denny says, and I am inclined to believe him. Let's see. Those people cannot dance, Rosie says. All right, I'm just going to skip down to the end here because we got to get moving. What are we, an hour and 37 in already? Wow, this has flown by tonight. Denny says, is it true Doug Ford used taxpayer money to buy a $28 million used jet? It is true. And you know what? I kind of get it, right? Like, you know, like traveling around, he doesn't take like international trips, right? He travels around Ontario and like getting around on on these kind of shorter distances, you know, you can still be driving for a long time. And like flying commercial, it'd be really difficult to get into all these little places. I kind of get it. Like he should be able to just go into like some, you know, Timmins or something, right? Like, and then go back again. I don't know. I don't think it does make sense to me. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, solution, cut down all the trees so everyone is equal. Yeah, that's usually what equity comes down to, isn't it? Just whatever it is that somebody had more of, everybody ends up with none of it. Let's see. Denny says, so people line up in food banks and in Toronto, and Toronto is more concerned about trees, Pretty said. Well, I guess it's just a distraction. It's a woke thing, so they can keep signaling, look, we're woke, we're woke, we're woke. Look, tree equity, woke, woke, woke. That's all that matters. Bambot says, Brampton was nicknamed Bramladesh. Well, I hear that about Brampton all the time, that it's just an Indian colony now. Rosie says, I want to be more equal. Well, then you have to become a communist. And then also, you would also have to become trans, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I don't know how you'd look with a mustache, but you're going to have to work on it. Let's see. If you want to be more equal, upgrades are all done. Thank God, Spambot. Thank God. All right. What did we have here? All right. Andrew Scheer posted this. Said, a quick look at Carney's record shows he has been wrong on every major economic issue. Let's see. He predicted COVID would cause deflation. COVID would cause deflation. He couldn't possibly have said that, could he? Couldn't possibly have said that. Well, let's see. Here's an article from the Globe and Mail. And when was this? This was a puff piece on Mark Carney from March 18th, 2021. Where it's just, the whole thing is just totally servile and flattering to Mark Carney. He says, I definitely agree with the stance that the major central banks have taken in terms of support. I definitely agree with the stance that the major central banks have taken in terms of support. The pandemic is a huge disinflationary, if not deflationary shock. And so the right monetary policy response was in the direction they've taken. Really? Really? Huh? He says, we're going to get a quick bounce back as things reopen. Huh? So here's something he was completely wrong about. And weirdly, his credentials didn't help him in this. Well, what else we got here? He believes the government can print money without causing inflation. We don't even need to check up on that, do we? Let's see. He championed carbon taxes. He supported Trudeau's pipeline cancellations. His net zero banking alliance collapsed. Let's see. Oh, hold on a second. He supported Trudeau's pipeline. Oh, sorry. Let's go back here. He championed carbon taxes. Well, he has been doing that, right? Like here from November 25th, 2025. Don't expect Prime Minister Mark Carney to soften his stand on carbon taxes. He hasn't. And I've shown you the video many times of him talking about how carbon taxes need to just keep going up, and how the industry is going to pay. They're going to pay the carbon taxes. But he supported Trudeau's pipeline cancellations. True. His net zero banking alliance collapsed. Net zero banking alliance folds after mass exodus by members. And even the Canadian banks pulled out of it. The Net Zero Banking Alliance is to cease operations after a vote to wind up the group, which had already lost many of its members amid allegations from some U.S. lawmakers that membership breached antitrust regulations. The alliance, set up in 2021, was the banking industry's main body leading the sector's global effort to cut carbon emissions, or to also make a bunch of money from things like carbon capture and other utter wastes of time. An overhaul was proposed in August after many big banks left to create a framework initiative rather than a membership-based organization. So this was part of Carney's net zero grift to funnel massive subsidies into useless companies that will not change the weather, that will not change global climate, but make a lot of money for the people who get the subsidies. And let's see, it seems like I remember something about Brookfield being very involved with that, with Carney's ESG fund. So that was October 3rd, 2025. It's funny. Like, that's right before Mark Carney decided he wanted to be prime minister and was basically just all but coronated by the media and the Liberal Party. So, I wonder if that had anything to do with it. Let's see. Mark Carney's net zero schemes and scams are falling apart. And all of a sudden, he's prime minister and holding a national credit card, just ready to pour subsidies into a bunch of useless companies. Such a coincidence. He lobbied to leave natural resources in the ground. Well, in his book, he says 80% have to stay in the ground. In his book, Values, which is really about Mark Carney's values, not anybody else's. And by values, I mean his financial interests. The fact that he went to school for a really long time to arrive at all these mistakes actually makes his failures even worse. Well, the thing is, people are still going under the delusion that Mark Carney is trying to help Canada. Mark Carney is not trying to help Canada. Mark Carney's interests are not the interests of the Canadian people. Mark Carney's interests and his incentives are all tied up in global climate finance. That's where his interests are. That's where Brookfield's interests are. And what those interests need are tons and tons of subsidies from a country like Canada, say, which is, I guess, really the last one standing in terms of the net zero stuff, in terms of taking it seriously. So congratulations, Canada. Get ready to pay for Mark Carney to become very, very wealthy, and his friends too. And you're going to be left with the bill when Mark Carney just disappears after this term is done, because he's not going to hang around. He'll disappear even quicker than he parachuted in. when he goes and chooses which castle in Europe he wants to live in. Let's see. How about this? Brian Lilly posted this, and he's responding to Mark Carney here. And he's saying, which is why the Carney government supported Iran becoming a member of a United Nations human rights group. So he's responding to what Mark Carney says here. So he's talking about April 16th. He just keeps saying this over and over again, in a dangerous and divided world. Well, actually, this is from the World Economic Forum back in January, Mark Carney. And he said then, back then he was talking about dangerous and divided world. And he just keeps saying that over and over again. He's just working the fear angle constantly. Let's take a look.
Our new approach rests on what Alexander Stubb, the president of Finland, has termed value-based realism. Or to put another way, we aim to be both principled and pragmatic.
Principled and pragmatic, which is why, hold on a second. Which is why Canada voted to put Iran on a human rights committee, a UN human rights committee. Why? By the way, the UN is the same group that put Saudi Arabia as the chair for the UN Women's Rights Commission. Let's see, March 11th, 2025, despite its abysmal record on women's rights, Saudi Arabia is now chairing the UN's top women's rights body, presiding until March 21st at a gathering of global leaders that is supposed to address gender equality amid a reported backlash against women's rights at the 69th annual session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women. Let's see. An executive director of UN Watch said, quote, "It's surreal. Electing Saudi Arabia to head the world body for protecting women's rights is like putting Dracula in charge of the blood bank." And it's exactly like that. This is the UN, people. This is why I don't have any respect for them, and I don't trust them, and I don't think Canada should listen to anything that comes out of the UN. If the UN has any advice for Canada, we should do the opposite. Let's see, but here we are. Canada voted to put Iran on a UN Human Rights Committee. It's like parody. It's like satire. How Ottawa's quiet support for one of the world's worst human rights abusers reveals a dangerous new foreign policy that Canadians deserve answers about. Why? Why on earth would they do this, especially with what's going on now in the straight? Like, it's utter madness. But let's go back. Let's see. Continue, Mark Carney.
Principled in our commitment to fundamental values.
Again, Iran, human rights. Yeah, okay.
Sovereignty, territorial integrity, the prohibition of the use of force except when consistent with the UN Charter, and respect for human rights.
Hold on a second. Respect for human rights. But didn't you vote to put Iran on the UN Human Rights Committee? I mean, they've been up to some bad stuff. Let's see. The Iranian regime is known to throw women into jail, punish them with whippings, and rape them for not wearing a hijab in public or for singing. So what were you saying there, Mark Carney?
And pragmatic in recognizing that progress is often incremental, that interests diverge, that not every partner will share all of our values. So we're engaging broadly, strategically, with open eyes. We actively take on the world as it is, not wait around for a world we wish to be.
Okay, but how does this help us? How does this whole voting to put Iran on a UN Human Rights Committee help Canada exactly? It's almost like I'm getting the feeling he doesn't mean anything that he says.
We are calibrating our relationships so their depth reflects our values. And we're prioritizing broad engagement to maximize our influence, given the fluidity of the world at the moment.
Maximize our influence, he says. Hey, Iran, you're doing a great job on human rights. Why don't you chair the Human Rights Committee at the UN? Okay, continue.
The risks that this poses and the stakes for what comes next. And we are no longer just relying on the strength of our values, but also the value. Our new
Not just the strength of our values, but the value of our strengths. It's just a word salad. It doesn't mean anything. What did Brian Lilly say again? Which is why the Carney government supported Iran becoming a member of a United Nations human rights group. Yeah. Principled and pragmatic. Principled and pragmatic, Mark Carney says. Yeah, look, I've come to the conclusion, maybe I'm going out on a limb here. He doesn't mean anything that he says, and he's working in his own interest, not in the interest of Canada. He has his own incentives, perverse incentives, you might say. But it's not, he's not doing any of this for you. Let's see. All right, let's move on. I think we got everything. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Why not? Let's do it. We're only an hour and 52 minutes in. Here's another link you can't play, Richie. Cause is going to freak out, I guess. Let's see. Nevada says, this chick looks like she's got implants in the back. That's a thing they do now. They got implants for everything now. For like lips and like cheeks and asses and tits and everything. I'm in favor of it, frankly. I think there's so much wrong with women today. Let's see. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, Carney, loser, track record, 0 accomplishments. Liberals love him. Well, he did an incoherent, idiotic speech, hypocritical speech at Davos, which they all loved. Apparently, they didn't understand it at all. And apparently, apparently they've got no questions whatsoever about that wonderful speech, and then any of the stuff he's done afterwards, like this whole fighting the hegemons thing, and then going to China, and basically, offering loyalty to the Chinese New World Order, which is a very weird thing to do, huh? Let's see, living a lie. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says, I saw this in my X feed. Quote, I threw out my back sleeping, tweaked my neck sneezing, and I'm one strong fart away from total paralysis. Izzy says he can relate, I can relate too. Let's see. Yeah, the Be Real, Call a Man a Woman, Macross. Yeah, a big part of that was the whole living a lie part of it, right? It's like, oh, good Lord. That's Canada. Canada is now, the whole experience of being Canadian is just living a lie. Let's see. Izzy says 40,000 recently killed for protesting. Exactly. Yeah. Macross says he means everything he says. Now give him the money. Well, he's got the money. He's got his majority. Now he's I've been saying, I predicted predicted before the election that he was going to use Canada as his net zero laboratory. He was going to max out the national credit card and leave Canada in an unbelievable mess. He'll just skip town at the end of it after he's enriched himself and his friends, right? And because really, I think this was his last shot to really cash in because, again, like the banking alliance had collapsed. The whole thing's going south. The United States is now a net exporter of oil. It's the biggest oil producer in the world, and nobody's worried about whether they're doing carbon capture or not. The whole thing was on the way. This was the last gasp, and Canadians, particularly liberal boomers, and I'm saying liberal boomers. I'm not saying all boomers. There's lots of awesome boomers in this country. Some of them watch this show. But liberal boomers, especially because he had such a big lead with them, just fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. It's weird when you see the poll, when you see all the other demographics, which are fairly close, and then boomers, which are like 20, boomers are like 20%. It's like a 20% advantage for the liberals. That's who got Mark Carney elected, liberal boomers. And whose brains are plugged in still to the CBC, to Global Nightly News, to CTV Nightly News? Them. It's just stark and clear, like what happened. They've been brainwashed. They're the only ones whose brains are just directly plugged into that stuff every night, and they fell for it. Let's see. Spambot says, I say evil and moronic. You talking about the Davos speech? Yeah. Let's see. Spambot says he's allowing their assassination teams from the Iranian Guard to immigrate to Canada. Yep. Well, that's just a fact. Like, we know that, right? That's even been reported in the mainstream media, right? Like, all right. What do we got next? Let's see. Who posted this? Only JD Vance News fans. All right. Who posted this? So, USA Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I don't care what the UN says, says Marco Rubio. I think he's been very impressive as Secretary of State. Just his demeanor, his temperament. Also, he's extremely knowledgeable. He's to the point. And yeah, I think he's been very impressive. I think he's going to be a top candidate in 2028. Let's take a look.
No, you're wrong in your question. Number one, Venezuela is a major source. And the reason why is the following. And I've seen a lot of this reporting, and it's fake reporting, and I'll tell you why. It says that somehow Venezuela is not involved in the drug trade because the UN says they're not involved in the I don't care what the UN says. The UN doesn't know what they're talking about. Maduro is indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York. That means the Southern District of New York presented the evidence to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted him. And then a superseding indictment came out that was unsealed about a year and a half ago that specifically detailed Maduro's actions. So number one, let there be no doubt, Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and he's a fugitive of American justice. You're wrong in your question. Number one.
So he says he doesn't care what the UN says, and you have to wonder a little bit. Where was it? Let's see. So the UN that put Saudi Arabia as the chair of the UN Women's Rights Commission, which is totally surreal. Let's see. Also, Canada voted to put Iran on a UN Human Rights Committee. So the UN puts Iran on a Human Rights Committee. Why? Why would Canada vote for that? I don't even have an answer for that. It's so bizarre. But Iran on a Human Rights Committee, right? That they just slaughtered like 40,000 of their own people. They throw women in prison and do worse to women for not wearing, a head covering. I mean, it shouldn't come as a shock to anybody to hear Marco Rubio or anybody else say, I don't care what the UN says. Why would anybody? It's obviously now been this utterly corrupted organization that apparently exists mostly just to like criticize Israel, right? I'm not like this big Israel backer, but it seems to be pretty much all they do. I mean, I'm sure there's other things happening in the world. All right. I think that's all we had from him. All right. Yeah, we did that. Let's see. What do we got here? Hold on. Let's see. All right. So Mark Carney secured his majority government through floor crossers, through bribing dishonorable MPs into crossing the floor. That much is obvious, right? You don't get four conservatives and one NDP crossing in the course of months. That is, in fact, that's never happened before in that short of a time, and it certainly and you haven't seen anything like this since 1917, right? And you've never had a Canadian government form a majority through floor crossers. So, what exactly is happening now? Now, I've wondered at the media's curious lack of curiosity regarding this, because it seems like there's clearly something happening. Something dirty is happening. Why wouldn't the media be interested? Well, here at least, Brian Lilly has investigated this, and yeah, it just looks really, really bad. Poilievre's pain is not over as Carney Liberals pursue more conservative MPs. Yeah, they're not done yet. They want more. Now, in this article, he's saying there's no way that he can continue on as leader if more party members jump ship. I don't think you can let a bunch of rats sink a good leader, right? He had 87% in his leadership review in the last election, just over a year ago, or in the last election, just about a year ago. He had the highest vote for the Conservatives, the highest vote percentage for the Conservatives in 40 years, and the most votes for a Conservative ever. So, no, I really hope this doesn't happen. I really hope a bunch of rats don't get to sink his ship. But let's take a look. Carney Liberals have their majority of 174 seats, in large part because 4 Conservative MPs defected from Pierre Poilievre's party to Carney's. It is the floor crossers that gave them the majority. The problem for Poilievre and the Conservatives is the tortuous ordeal of watching their caucus members cross the floor. The problem for Poilievre and the Conservatives is that the torturous ordeal of watching their caucus members cross the floor may not be over. There are offers on the table ranging from committee appointments to hints of a cabinet post and even an offer of a judicial appointment. I mean, this is as dirty as it gets. This is awful. Also, too, I would like to see, because the floor crossers, I think most of them, their political careers are done now, right? Certainly Gladue, she's just completely unelectable after this. What do these people do after the next election when probably all of them are out of a job? Are they going to Mark Carney is connected to hundreds of companies, right? Are there some companies, and there certainly will be some companies that receive lots of subsidies from the Canadian government, that maybe they got a cushy job, with a lot of zeros per year for a guy who maybe helped out Mark Carney during the election, or that maybe helped out Mark Carney get his majority and get those subsidies rolling. I wonder, will anybody follow through on that? Probably not. Let's see. Conservative MP Billy Moran said to reporters ahead of a news conference on Monday. So this was caught on a hot mic. You want to run a story on floor crossing? They're trying to poach me. Moran, the MP for Edmonton Northwest and former chief of Enoch Cree Nation, was approached by Mandy Gull-Masti, Mark Carney's Minister of Indigenous Services. She texted Moran recently asking him about the possibility of him joining the Liberals. Quote, wondering if you ever had any reflections on what it would mean or wish to explore the dark side. We do want to grow our caucus to 7, preferably 8. We do want to grow out caucus to 7, preferably 8, she said via text. Moran put out a statement to Global News on Monday denouncing the Liberal approach and trying to get a majority. Quote, this shameless power grab in the face of democracy by the Liberals would attempt to make me just another number in their caucus, he said, adding that he is fully supportive of the Conservative Party. This is just a total undermining of democracy. Matt Genereux was made a special advisor on economic and security partnerships. Marilyn Gladu apparently believes she'll be in cabinet. Good luck with that. And at least one Conservative MP was approached about taking a judicial appointment to consider vacating his seat and prompting a by-election. How is this even legal? This is dirty. This is shameful. Why isn't the media, CBC, Global News, CTV, why aren't they outraged by this? This is an undermining of democracy. The Canadian people did not vote to give Mark Carney a majority just because he can lure over these faithful scoundrels, these vile betrayers of their own constituents, the people who volunteered for them and who donated to them, right? Or maybe stood in line for hours just to vote for them, right? Like, this is deeply corrupt. This is like third world stuff. And yes, there's been floor crossers in the past, and it happened rarely. The last one was like 2018, one. Never before have we seen something like this. Media, fine. In fact, the media loves it, actually. They can barely contain their glee every time they talk about it. Let's see. Brian Garrettson posted this. Carney gets asked if he thinks the way he obtained a majority government will erode Canadians' trust in our democracy. Gee, do you think? Let's take a look. So apparently we got a Carney word salad coming up. Let's take a peek.
So, Jillian. Hi, Prime Minister. Jillian Piper with Global News. You've been able to obtain a majority in large part thanks to 5 floor crossers, which the Conservatives have labeled as anti-democratic. Are you concerned the way you got your majority will erode Canadians' trust in our democracy?
Well, first, I'd point to the election results last night. And we have a majority now in the House of Commons, thanks to the electors in Scarborough Southwest, in Terrebonne, and in University Rosedale.
Those are already Liberal seats.
And as concerns individual deputies who make a choice to support the government's program at this crucial time for the country, whether they're from whatever political stripe, orientation, geographic region they come, consistent with the government program, we're fortunate to have them, and we're moving forward together with them.
Just doesn't care. Does not care the damage he's doing to this country on every level. It's not just economic. It's social. He's damaged a large portion of the population's just faith in our own democracy, faith in their own politicians. I mean, I suppose it's good that we found out who the rats are, right? So that everybody can remember to never vote for them again, including people like I'm sure that the Liberal voters kind of have a bit of a bad taste in the mouth. I mean, these Conservatives were supposed to be far right monsters. Right, they're supposed to be maple mega monsters, right? And all of a sudden, they're happy, proud Liberals. Got to leave a bad taste in some of their mouths too. It's a disgrace. He's worse than Trudeau. He's Turbo Trudeau, right? And I'm not just saying that. I'm not just pulling that out of the air. Look, Trudeau. He's doubled the deficit that Justin Trudeau wanted. He's Turbo Trudeau. He's even worse, and this is what I said would happen. This is what I said he would be. And yeah, sadly, I was right. Crazy that the Liberal Party of Canada has agents going around and actively trying to convince MPs to betray their constituents, and taxpayers pay them to do this job. That's from Table Salt. It's gross. It's gross. All right. What are you guys saying again? Let's go to a different one here. What's this one? This is a fun one. Hold on. This is a fun cooking video. Like this one. All right. Just chopping up some veggies. Let's see. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Across says, I don't care what the Pope says. I don't either. They do have had a pretty bad run of popes there, haven't they? Let's see. Spambot says, Richie, I think Carney, just like Trudeau, thinks women are garbage. I can't wait for the tell-all to come out from Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Trudeau is a toxic narcissist. Trudeau is he's like that, what do they call it? The dark triad of personality traits. He's all of that. I can't wait for him to reveal himself to Katy Perry fully and to hear about it afterwards. I'm guaranteeing you there's going to be a teary interview on 60 Minutes or something. A teary interview where she talks about the abuse she suffered at the hands of Justin Trudeau. Hold on a second, you guys. I want to check something. Just want to see if there's any ads that it's worth it for me to do. Not really. Not really. All right. We shall leave that then. All right. What else are you guys saying? I'll go through this quick. Rosie says, palate cleanser from JJ. I was supposed to say never made it. Shall we do a quick link monkey from the chat? Let's see. It's so demeaning, but I love you guys, and you guys want. You guys are determined to see your links, so let's do it. What is this? Oh, yeah. This is a palate cleanser. Studies show that watching a beaver eat cabbage lowers stress levels by 50%. Let's just give it 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I feel better now. I feel better. I feel cleansed after all that Carney stuff, right? Hey, sadly, this video was taken on Epstein Island, and the beaver hasn't been seen since. Nobody knows where it is, but yeah, it's actually quite tragic. All right. Let's see. We did that. We did that. What now? What do we got? Oh, God. All right. We'll do this one. Thank you, Rosie. That was a good one. Let's see. Izzy says, oh, I imagined it would be True Gina crying in a tell-all. No. He'll be apologizing. Let's see. Denny always supports the people of Alberta. So do I. Rambot says, cabbage makes me gassy. That's what we all got from that beaver eating cabbage video. We all thought to ourselves, gee, I wonder if that gives Spambot fodder gas. I wonder if that makes him gassy. Watching that makes my stomach red, she says. Stomach wrench. Well, I don't know, man. I'm just doing my best here, okay? Just doing my best. Table Salt posted this. New, a village of 108 square foot government boxes built for Canadians to live in London, Ontario. Cost $4,800 per month per unit to operate. There are 60 units. So $4,800 per month per unit per 108 square foot unit to operate. This is the government helping. Let's see. This is nearly 3 times the cost of renting a 1-bedroom, 750 square foot apartment in London. So here we go. Here we go. Carney solving the housing problem. Now, of course, I'm sure this is what they want everybody living in, right? So this is for the homeless. But I'm sure that they want everybody in these. I'm sure Brookfield made these as well. Let's take a look.
Claims the project has successfully reduced encampments and improved the lives of residents. The report reveals the shelter cost $3.3 million to build and requires $288,000 a month to operate. 68 people now live at the site, while 16 residents have left because it wasn't a good fit. The report indicates there's been overall positive feedback from residents who credit improved safety and access to services supporting physical and mental health. Claims the project has successfully.
So, this is everybody's future in Canada, by the way. Put you in your box. Put you in your box. Get back in your box, Canadian. Get in there. Only $4,800 per month per unit. And unfortunately, I guarantee you these things are all going to be trashed within like a month, unfortunately. Let's see. How about this? Blacklock's reporter. Let's see. Fed spend. Well, hold on. Let's go back here. So from Blacklock's reporter, project managers originally planned to find 30 homeless gay veterans in Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa, and Halifax to take photos with free cameras. Records show the $1.2 million project started late and had difficulty finding gay homeless veterans. It's only 1.2 million. That's all. Nothing. Well, I mean, for the government, it's nothing. A Fed spend 1.2 million on art exhibition that gives cameras to homeless. The exact population is unknown. So my guess is that they gave the homeless people, who are very likely to be drug addicts, a camera, and then they immediately sold the camera for fentanyl. I'm just going out on a limb here, right? The people who spend all day stealing to pay for their drug addiction took the camera that they gave them and then immediately sold it for drugs. I'm just going out on a limb here. Nearly $1.2 million in federal money was set aside to fund an art exhibition handing out cameras to Canada's homeless. Now, I'm going to give you this camera, and you're going to take pictures for an art exhibition, okay? Are you really excited about that? You are? Great. But you got to promise that you're not going to immediately sell this for drugs. The project, entitled Reducing Homelessness for 2 SLGBTQI Veterans by Egal Canada, a Toronto-based gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender advocacy group, involved handing cameras to homeless gay veterans to document their daily lives. I'm wondering how many there are, how many gay veterans there really are, and how easy they are to find. I don't know. Let's see. Egal Canada's project submission said, home has many meanings and can include physical spaces, memories, and maybe even familiar sights or smells. As familiar sights or smells. Let's see. I wonder if familiar sights or smells, like needles and feces, possibly. I don't know. Home isn't always a physical space or fixed home isn't always a physical space or fixed address. Well, I don't know. I mean, can you get nice and cozy in the middle of winter in Ontario in your memories? I'm not sure that you can. Home isn't always a physical space or fixed address. It actually is. That's the thing, though. this is how insane Canada has gotten. This is woke dysfunction, right? This is what we call woke dysfunction. It's just when everything is totally unmoored from reality. With your camera, take pictures of your surroundings, your environment, the spaces you navigate, sleep, eat, spend time relaxing, or with others. Think about what the image reveals about your living space, or just immediately sell it for more drugs. So, but I mean, if they're right, if home has many meanings and can include memories or even familiar sights or smells, then maybe we can just say there's no homeless people, right? Where did all the unhoused people go? Well, they're living in familiar sights and smells now. Well, those people over there, they look like they're homeless, right? That person with the tent there, they look like they're homeless. Oh, no. That person's living in their memories. What happened to Canada? What happened? We are just a giant lunatic asylum. Some people say that we're a retard colony. And I'm not really going to argue with that. Well, I mean, you can live in familiar sights and smells. Wow. How many gay homeless veterans are there? According to government documents obtained by the online news outlet, funds totaling $1,199,921 were approved for the project by the Department of Housing. So according to the government documents obtained by the online news outlet, funds totaling almost $1.2 million were approved for the project by the Department of Housing. So, Department of Housing. So, this is what they're doing. This is how they are. So, okay, I'm starting to understand now, right? So, there's a housing crisis in Canada, and they're convincing people that they can live in smells to solve the problem. It's finally starting to come together for me. One problem the group ran into was finding gay homeless veterans willing to participate, with organizers hoping to find 30 such willing individuals across 5 Canadian cities. They eventually narrowed down to Ottawa and a second undisclosed city. The group admitted they had no data on exactly how many homeless LGBTQ plus veterans are living on city streets in the country. The exact population is unknown, but we still want our 1.2 million. I mean, it's just, I don't know. What do you say? What do you say about Canada? Let's see. So, again, this was from Blacklock's reporter. Let's see. Cost categories Canada. Let's see. Administrative costs, $153,000. So somebody was making a good living off this. Capital costs, $2,800. Capital assets, $2,800. Direct costs, $1 million. Staff wages, $945,000. Wow. Project costs $97,000. So, I mean, quite clearly, just a scam, right? Quite clearly, this was just a way for bureaucrats to get a bunch of money. That's it. This is just a way to scam the government out of money. So, capital costs, $2,800. Staff wages, $945,000. So the vast majority of this was on staff wages. It's almost like they don't really care about the homeless or the gay homeless or whatever, or the art project. Maybe just more like just caring about money. I think that's what it came down to. Go down a limb here. I thought I would just take a look at some of just to give you an example of the kind of money that's being thrown around. So here's grants and contributions. This is Government of Canada. I just typed in LGBTQ, and I went down here to Went down here to Women and Gender Equality Canada. 800 and apparently 886 records of this. Let's see, 330,000 there for East Space LGBTQ. Strategic and philanthropic planning for East Space. I mean, what is that? Gay websites? Like, what does this mean? October 30th, 2023 to March 31st, 2026. So that one just paid out completely. Collective LGBTQ do Manitoba. Let's see. There's 21,000 for that one. Let's see. What does this do? Dissemination and implementation of the results of a needs analysis. I'm just going to go ahead and guess this wasn't totally necessary. Here's another 21,000 for creation of a governance body for the PR LGBTQ plus allies group. Okay. 371,000 for, let's see, AGIR Action Lesbian. Oh, so some lesbian action. Now they're talking my language, but I don't think it's that kind, though. Actually, I don't think it's that kind. We'd better move on from that. But you can see it just goes on and on and on and on. And you just wonder how many, I mean, look at these two, 374,000, 264,000. What does this equal out to over, say, 10 years? Is it 100 million? Is it a billion? Maybe I should do that in the next video. Try and find out exactly how much. But you can see it just goes on and on forever. And that's just the first page. These are just the first ones out of the 886 records. These are just the first ones out of the 886 records there. Enormous waste of money. And yeah, under Mark Carney, all this stuff just is going to continue on. I always said, look, Mark Carney is just as woke. In fact, he's even more woke than Justin Trudeau. And as long as he is prime minister, the feds are going to keep spending money on things like 1.2 million on art exhibition that gives cameras to homeless. It's actually homeless gay veterans. All right. Good Lord. Let's go back to the chat for a second. What are we, 2.5 hours already? Jeez. What the hell is going on? This is almost like abuse. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we already did that. Let's see. Macross says, okay, I've abused the hell out of Richie. So you guys know what you're doing to me. You know what you're doing to me. Let's see. True to Fire says, no, it's not Katy Perry's, but no, it was not Katy Perry's beaver. Thank God. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says, you cannot get approval to build your own tiny house. It probably has to be a Brookfield house, a prefab Brookfield house. Let's see, but Brookfield can, yes. Well, Brookfield is, they bought that, I can't remember the name of it, but I know that they did buy a company that does prefab housing, which Mark Carney has talked a lot about. That's the future of Canadian housing, people living in shipping containers. Let's see. Let's see. Now the chat's getting spicy. Now it's getting spicy. Izzy says, live in the pods, eat the bugs, and be happy, or they'll provide you made. No, it's live in the pods, eat the bugs, be happy, and they'll provide you made. You're not going to have a choice. Let's see. Look at it this way. In Canada, you won't have to clean the waste until summer. Well, that's true. That's true. Let's see. It used to be it was just the dog poo that would thaw. Not anymore. Now it's the human poo, too. Izzy says, did they have to be gay? That has to be in everything now. That's just reflexive at this point. Right? So just anything they do, it has to have a gay angle. Right? Because don't forget, it's gay race communism. Let's see. Oh, God. Looks like we lost Spambot. Hardest working man in the chat, Spambot. We understand. And let's see. Principal chair yoga go. What's that? Let's see. I don't know what you guys are talking about buckets. All right. Modulaire Group, Trudeau source says, yes, that's the prefabricated housing company that they bought. Let's see. I think it was for office space, but easily, it can easily be used to create housing. All right. Now where are we going? So, all right. Here's some sanity. So I am not giving up on Pierre Poilievre. I do not want him replaced as a leader. I think he's fighting what's basically an almost unwinnable battle against a machine, the liberal machine. Canada and its resources appear to exist. The whole infrastructure of Canada, the Canadian government, the Canadian media, every bit of infrastructure in Canada. So let me start over again. Everything in Canada, every institution, every bit of infrastructure, everything, the media, academia, everything seems to exist purely to oppose the Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre is fighting this nearly unwinnable battle against this machine that just opposes him endlessly and shamelessly. So I think Pierre Poilievre would make a great prime minister, a very good prime minister. He gave the Conservatives the highest vote in 40 years, 41.3%. The most votes for a Conservative Party in history, right? 87% in his leadership review. No, I'm not with the media, which is trying to destroy Pierre Poilievre. I'm sticking with Pierre Poilievre. Okay. I support him and I'm going to continue to support him. And the more the media tries to convince me to drop him, the more I'm going to support him because, I don't think that a bunch of liberals have my best interest at heart. Thank you very much. Or the best interest of the Conservative Party at heart. Thank you very much. Mark Nixon posted this. Pierre Poilievre just dropped the truth about Canada. We should be the richest country on earth. Largest freshwater supply, most land per capita, third largest oil reserves, third largest uranium deposits. See, this is why we keep being told. This is why we keep being told by Rosemary Barton's teleprompter that Pierre Poilievre's a bad leader and he's mean and he's weak and everybody hates him and he has to be replaced. The reason they're so obsessed with getting rid of Pierre Poilievre, with convincing conservatives to get rid of him, is because he's effective. And they saw that in the last election, that he did get a 40-year high in that election for the conservatives, right? And the only reason that he didn't win is because the left consolidated around Carney and the NDP collapsed. They know that he's strong. That's why they hate him so much.
We do both of these things.
They know that he's strong. That's why they hate him so much.
Here, Rana, and it brings back memories of a better time, a time when our country was affordable and autonomous, and when we were able to stand our own 2 feet as an economy. In fact, that is really the theme of my speech today. We are here today gathered at a time when we're in need of both optimism and realism. In fact, it has been said that optimism without realism is a fantasy. Realism without optimism is surrender. I ask today that we do both of these things. We bring forward optimism for what our country can be and realism about where we are today. The good news is that Canada should be the richest, most affordable, and autonomous country anywhere on earth. We have more resources per person than any country in the history of the world. It should be laughably cheap to buy a house, to heat that house, and to drive a car off its lot. Food prices should be so affordable that price is an afterthought when you walk down the grocery aisle with all the farmland we have. Our mission should therefore to make Canada affordable and safe at home and unbreakable abroad. That is our potential. Now, let's look at our present day reality. On electricity, we have the world's third largest supply of uranium, the most rivers to power hydro, the cheapest natural gas anywhere on Earth to power stations. And yet, this year, for the first time ever, Canada is unable to produce enough electricity to supply itself. We have the fourth most oil anywhere on Earth, and yet we are now importing from Saudi Arabia and Nigeria. We have the most oil in the G7, and we are the only G7 country without an oil reserve. We have the most land, but we have 10 times more land per person to live on, and yet we have the fewest homes per capita in the G7. We have the third most farmland per capita in the world, and yet 2.2 million people line up at food banks every month. That is a 100% increase over the last 7 years. And the bad news, I'm afraid, continues.
This is why this is why the media is trying so hard to destroy Pierre Poilievre. Because if people see this, and of course, you know, CBC is not going to show it, right? But people see it, this will be appealing, right? For one thing, it's not the message of, you know, infinite suffering from Mark Carney, right? As he's preparing Canada to suffer under his policies. No, this is a message of hope and optimism and realism, as he said, right? And the solutions are shockingly obvious and pragmatic. First and foremost, get out of the way of using our own natural resources. We have an incredible wealth of natural resources that we're not fully developing them is insanity. It's lunacy. What for? We're told it's so that we're going to change the global climate. That's madness. How can anybody still believe this gibberish? Right? His message is an appealing one. This is a very appealing one. It'll become more and more appealing as people start to recognize, start to realize that they were sold a false bill of goods with Mark Carney, right? When the media, you know, after he parachuted in from Europe after having spent basically no time in Canada as an adult, right? I mean, he went to school in the States. He worked in the States. He worked in Europe. You know, after he parachuted back into the country after his foreign adventures, right? The media coronated him immediately. They knew who they wanted. They wanted Mark Carney. They put him on a throne and they put a crown on his head and a sword in his hand and lied to the country and said, this is the guy who's going to take on the Orange Man. And all of your problems are because of the Orange Man. And forget about the last 10 years. And forget about the fact that Mark Carney was advising Trudeau since 2020 as an economic advisor. And in fact, when you read Carney's book, well, it doesn't take long to figure out where Trudeau got all of his ideas from. And he was telling him to do everything that he did. Anyway, I can't remember where I was going with that rant. But in any case, it's speeches like this that motivates the media to destroy Pierre Poilievre. Because, again, as people realize that they've been hoodwinked and they've been taken for a ride, and as things continue to get worse and worse, a hopeful message, but also a pragmatic message, right? That it's not couched in all kinds of high-flown rhetoric about leading the world powers in a revolt against the United States by getting into bed with China somehow. That all makes sense, and we're going to change the global climate. I mean, no, this reality is going to become increasingly convincing, increasingly appealing to those people who were hoodwinked by the media, who've been lied to by Mark Carney, and everybody in the Liberal Party, right? This will become more appealing. So they're not going to let up. CBC, Global, CTV are going to continue to serve their masters in the Liberal Party, and Mark Carney, who is ultimately their paymaster and the guarantor of their future subsidies, right? They're going to keep attacking Pierre Poilievre, and that'll be their main focus, as it is now, and it will continue. All right. While I was on that rant, something genuinely beautiful happened in the chat. And Trudeau survivor, and it wasn't easy to survive Trudeau, but he did it. We did it. Trudeau survivor is gifted a subscription to Radio Baloney on Rumble, and my God, I woke up this morning. I had no idea this was going to happen. I had no idea it was going to be this important. Something this beautiful and emotional was going to happen. Trudeau survivor is gifted a subscription to Radio Baloney on Rumble, and that makes Trudeau survivor the best person ever. People got their heroes, from history, from right now. I'm not saying there weren't great people. There's not been great people throughout history. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is that compared to Trudeau survivor, they're all human garbage. All of your heroes are human garbage compared to Trudeau survivor. Did any of your heroes ever gift a subscription to Radio Baloney on Rumble? I don't think that they did they? So fuck them. Trudeau survivor, best person ever. Let's do it again. All right. It really is the best thing that anybody can do for my channel. And something, wait a second. Is there another? Oh my God. There's a second one. Macross. Holy macaroni. Macross gifting the subscriptions to Radio Baloney on Rumble. My God. I didn't think it could get any better tonight. And then suddenly there goes Macross. Doing what? What did Macross do? Well, he went ahead and proved himself best person ever. I was walking down the street and I saw this jackass leaning against a light pole, smoking a cigarette, and just going off, talking about, I'm great, I'm so great, I'm the best person ever. And I walked right up and I put my finger right in that asshole's chest and I said, fuck you. You ever gifted a subscription to Radio Baloney and Rumble? Guy said, no. I said, then fuck you. You're nothing. You're garbage. You're human garbage. But you know who's not? Macross. Is best person ever. Boom. My God. I had no idea any of this was going to happen tonight, people. I had no idea. I'm actually kind of in shock right now. I'm shaking with joy. And I'm actually got tears running down my face. You can't hear it in my voice. I'm very good at controlling myself that way. But tears running down my face, soaking my shirt. It's so beautiful. I can't really even describe the feeling that I have right now. I will just say that it's very, very profound. Thank you. It's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. All right. Let's see. Was there any more? Was that okay, so it was the two. All right. I think I got everybody. Thank God. Let's see. I do put on quite a show of it, so I could see how somebody would be disappointed if I missed it. Let's see. Now what are we talking about? Let's go back here for a second. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor said, free camera if you're gay. I'm suddenly feeling very curious. don't turn gay for a phone. Just do it because you love it. That's why. Let's see. Macross was worried that his gift didn't show. No, we made a big production out of it. Don't you worry. I always do. Let's see. Let's see. See, Macross is, I can see in the timeline here, Macross is getting down because he thinks that I missed it. I hope he didn't leave before I did the thing. Let's see. It's not $12, it's $10.34. Let's see. Bricks, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Trudeau's Forever says 1 millionth viewer. Macross, I abused Richie so bad. I'm starting to feel bad now. But I did it. I came through. Let's see. Macross says, I'm no hero. That's bullshit. Bullshit. You're a hero. Hero on this channel. Let's see. All right, what are we doing? So we did that Polyev there. Let's see. What does Pierre Polyev have to say here? This is posted by Jasmine Lane. Let's take a look.
Without an oil reserve. We have the most land, but we have 10 times more land per.
Okay, so we already did that. All right, so we don't need to do that. All right, let's. All right, we're getting near to the end here. So this is going to be very quick. So this liberal here, liberal MP, thought that is he an MP or is he a minister? Liberal MP. So this liberal MP here got very excited about himself and promptly embarrassed himself. Let's take a look. Mark Nixon, the House erupts. Liberal MP Wayne Long. Well, let's see. He's going hard here. Let's see if he lands it.
Mr. Speaker, that Conservative leader and House leader questioning our Prime Minister's economic education and experience is like a third-line beer league hockey player questioning Conor McGregor's hockey skills. On this side of
Who? Conor McGregor? What? Conor McGregor's hockey skills? Well, that's weird. Conor McGregor doesn't play hockey. He's an MMA guy, huh? Were you thinking Connor McDavid, perhaps? Yeah. These are the Uber Patriots, the Uber elbows up Patriots, by the way. And yeah, he doesn't seem to. I don't think it was a slip of the tongue. I think he just does it. He just doesn't know anything. And somebody wrote this for him. I think somebody wrote this for him. Some woke person wrote this for him who doesn't know anything about hockey, but wanted this guy to be able to pretend that he was like just a regular Canadian guy who's into hockey and beer and stuff. And he looked at it and had no idea that it was wrong and just read it and thought he was going to have a good showing, a great clip. Yeah. What do people say underneath? Connor who? The Shadow Davis show? Kevin says, the sad thing is he probably practiced this zinger all morning long. Rick Perkins said, Conor McGregor is well known for his hockey skills. Oh, wait, wrong sport. Doesn't know how to fight, though. This was hilarious, Rick. Yeah, except Conor was in the UFC. I think that this is just so emblematic or symbolic of the Liberal Party and how it's not even really a Canadian party. It's actually, it's basically a college, like a university campus in the United States, right? I mean, everything they believe is just straight out of a U.S. College campus, a U.S. Ivy League humanities department. That's everything that the Liberal Party is. They're not even really Canadian anymore. I mean, they're just like Harvard faculty now, right? Like everything they know, they learned. Everything they know came out of some humanities department in the States. And This to me is it's almost too perfect. Oh yeah. We have to see this. Hold on. Maybe we do this one on Monday, actually. Yeah, Carney Liberal Culture Minister Mark Miller says that it will be much easier to regulate and censor the internet now that the Liberals have a minority government. You know what? This one needs a whole segment on its own. We can go over all the censorship bills. We're almost 3 hours into this stream. Yeah, we're not going to do it tonight. We're going to go over some other stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on a sec. All right. So Macross, you didn't blink and miss your tribute. Best person ever, right? Just let me know you got it. I can do it again. All right, let's just go through this last thing. Star Wars Renegade, starring J.D. Vance, Alex Jones, RFK, and a mysterious hero. They're shutting down AI after this. Apologies in advance. Who's this from? Maverick Alexander, Star Wars Renegade. All right, so let's take a look.
It was a time of chaos, a time of retardation, and a time of heroism. I came looking for the one they said would bring balance and peace to the desert people. Two rogue religions were at war for thousands of years. However, everyone in the galaxy was super tired of it. Son of a fucking bitch, were we tired of hearing about it. Our story begins, as all great stories do, with a middle-aged, heavyset, balding guy named J.D. Vance. Justice Delight Vance, I believe, is what J.D. stands for. Armed with nothing other than his wits and a laser sword, he set his sights upon a seemingly impossible goal: apprehend or kill everyone who refused to end the war. Before he'd attempt to end the war, though, he knew it would better serve him to set his sights on cleaning up his home planet, which had been plagued with poison, corruption, and homosexual pornography. To keep his mind free, JD liked to race through the desert, occasionally running over illegal aliens with his land speeder. JD needed allies, so he went off to kick the crap out of some intergalactic filth and see if he could make a few friends along the way. In a cantina on the outskirts, JD caught the attention of legendary pilot and all-around great guy Alex Joneslow.
Wow, what a leader.
Guy Fieri was also there. Although he was mainly a flavor guy, Fieri also appreciated defeating evil and would make a great team member.
Those fight moves are next level gangster. Not unlike loaded cheese fries.
I've got to say the AI is getting unbelievably good. They still have trouble, like the actors, right? Look perfect, but the delivery of the dialogue is still leaves a lot to be desired. That's still obviously very AI, but it's really becoming quite unbelievable, like just visually unbelievably good, isn't it? I'm doubling down on my whole in 5 years, your Netflix account or your Amazon Prime account or whatever, it's just going to be, you just type in, I'm sure there'll be the old catalog of all the films, but then it'll mostly be people just saying like, okay, make me another season of Friends, but it's got Nicolas Cage in it as Ross, right? And do Star Wars, but it's like the Muppets, or do Star Trek, but I want Brad Pitt to be the captain. That's what people will be doing, right? I'm telling you, 5 years, I think that's going to be it. It'll just, and it'll in 5 minutes, it'll just make a season for you, and it'll be perfect. You won't be able to tell the difference between, whether it was, you won't be able to tell the difference between real people doing something real and actually shooting something, and then just something that the AI just cooks up for you in 5 minutes. That's coming. I'm certain of it. I mean, this stuff is advancing so quickly. The Butler dog. Let's take a look. That's pretty good, but I'm just glad he didn't tell it to go get a jar of peanut butter. Horrible. Just horrible. Let's see. The dream job does exist. Their little backpacks is from Sassafras. Look at this. No, I'm not doing that. Turn that off. We don't need the sound for this. It's just awesome on its own. This is the ultimate palate cleanser for me. This just makes me happy. It's dogs going out for their day trip, going out on the bus. They got their little backpacks. They'll go jump in their seat. I mean, I don't know. It's great. Here's this guy. Oh, flips a little. There you go. They're just happy. They can't wait to go on their trip. Look at this. Ah, it's so great. Here comes another one. Meeting up with all their friends, saying hi to all their buddies with their backpacks. Probably got their dog treats in there. Oh man, I don't know. Does it get any better than that? Let's see. This is how villains are created. Let's see. This person says they'd go insane. Borderline psychological warfare. All right, let's take a look. Borderline psychological warfare. I'll take 17, please. Let's take a look.
This is the most evil thing that you can do to someone that'll literally drive them crazy. If you hide one of these in their house, it plays a cricket sound randomly once every 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. So if they're looking for it and they can't find it with the first chirp, they got to stand still and wait another 20, 30 minutes before the next one happens. And this battery can last up to 3 years. This is the most evil thing that you can do to someone.
That is. I'd be mad, very mad. We'll save that one for Monday for the premium stream. Spaceballs 2 is really happening. And, this whole kind of, dredging things up from the past. Typically, I'm like, not interested. Spaceballs 2. Yeah, I'm willing to go there. From Grums. Let's take a look. And I love Mel Brooks, too. So I'm willing to forgive Mel Brooks anything.
Nearly 40 years ago, a promise was made.
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2 to search for more money. Money,
Hold it. Wait a minute. It's me, Mel Brooks. I have a major announcement. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, is not going to be the title of this movie. Why not? Because after all these years, I found the money. There it is, the money. It was in my basement. But everywhere I go, people say, Mel, where's the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new one? Well, we did it. And the title is Spaceballs, the new one. It's just like the old one, but it's newer. That's why it's called the new one. There you have it. I'll see you at the movies, and may the Schwartz be with you.
April 23rd, 2027. Yeah, I'm in all the way. I'm in all the way for Spaceballs too. Even if it's terrible, I'll enjoy it. Because the first one is also kind of terrible, but really fun. Sergei Dashevsky, he holds the Guinness World Record for the smallest bike. So
centimeters. 11 centimeters. 11 centimeters.
you know, as far as obsessions go, it's definitely better than being a serial killer, I will say. World's smallest bike. Okay. Much respect. Let's see. Interesting use of free will. Look at this guy. Let's turn off that music. Oh, to be young and incredibly stupid. Yep. I'm sure this guy's dead by now. I don't know if this was taken like last week, he's probably dead by now. But I guess he's having a good time. Lauren Boebert has the best congressional reaction so far to Eric Swalwell and Tony Gonzalez being expelled. This is posted by Nick Sorter. Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, go to church. Find Jesus. Why is everybody so horny here? Yeah, go to church. Find Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe it's from looking at a rack all day. Possibly. I don't know. Let's see. This sounds expensive. Let's take a look.
Fuck, man! Come on!
Oh my God. What a terrible feeling that must be. Terrible feeling. Oh, let's see. All right. We'll save this one for Monday. This one we got to save for Monday. This one we got to save for Monday. I would save that. I'm tired. We're done. We're done, people. We're 3 hours and 4 minutes. That's it. We're saving everything else for Monday. All right. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please go and subscribe to Radio Baloney News. That's the second channel. It's been around for about 7 months now. The channel you're watching now is now only for live streams. Everything else is going to Radio Baloney News. All the clip videos, all these wonderful videos, Liberal Clown Convention, and the meme reviews, Woke Professor Roasted. All that stuff is going on Radio Baloney News now. So you must subscribe there. The algorithm doesn't want you to. The purple head gremlins don't want you to. They fear how powerful we can become by joining forces. So you must subscribe to the channel now. Don't let the gatekeepers win. All right. Let's finish off the chat and then let's get the hell out of here, people. The hell out of here. Let's see. McCross says, want the Enterprise to meet a Star Wars battle cruiser in Quadrant E. Well, I'm saying in 5 years, right? You'll go onto your streaming platform and you'll just ask for that. and the AI will just make it for you. Let's see. Across says, Spaceballs 2, we got your nuts. Let's see. You know, one of the greatest scenes of all time. Let's play it on, remind me to show it on the Monday stream, on the Rumble Premium stream. One of the greatest comedic, I mean, Spaceballs 2 is, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but Spaceballs is not a perfect movie, but it has one of the most brilliant comedic bits of all time when they're in like the space diner. And it was actually William Hurt. William Hurt. Is it William Hurt? From the original Alien movie is in there, and the chest burster comes out and puts on the little cap and has the cane and hello my baby, hello my darling, hello my ragtime girl. Genius. I have to play it for you on Monday. Remind me. Let's see. Oh, for God's sakes, we got to do another link monkey. Let's see. It's related to the last car video. Okay, we'll do one more link monkey and that's it. I am a link monkey, but I have my limits, and it's late. Tired people, Jesus, like slave drivers. All right, let's see. Paste. What do we got? I don't know what the hell this is. Better be worth it. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yikes, look at that in the water. Big hail. Look at the size of this hail, like falling on the lawn here. Wow. Jeez, those are golf ball size. Holy crap. Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. Macross says, check, please. All right. Well, that's it. I'm done. I'm tired. What is it? It's getting late, people. But I will say that I think we had a very successful stream tonight. I think the chat was in very good form. And I always say this, and I always mean it when I say, if you guys weren't here, this would be depressing because I would be ranting to a cold and indifferent universe. But you guys are here, so it's not. It's fun. So if you guys keep showing up, I will keep showing up. Thanks very much, everybody. And everybody have a great weekend. And yeah, I'll see you on Sunday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And have fun till then. We'll see you then.